In the rain, a male character asks if anyone is present, his voice filled with uncertainty as water drips around him. Another man with a commanding presence internally reflects on the surprise that someone could reside in this closed-down martial academy. From indoors, a man requests the young warrior if they can spend the night inside to escape the rain, proposing this as a humble plea. The young male wonders about the identities of these unfamiliar people, internally questioning who they might be. The group bows respectfully, pondering whether they're addressing him as a young Taoist guarding the academy despite his youth. The young male reassures himself that these strangers don't seem to be harmful or threatening in any way. He tells them he arrived in this secluded academy a few years ago and warmly allows them to stay wherever they wish. However, he clarifies that he is using the pavilion, so they should consider seeking shelter elsewhere. The leader expresses gratitude for the young warrior's hospitality, accepting the instruction to find other places. Turning to his group, the leader instructs them to move, emphasizing not to disturb the young warrior's pavilion while taking cover. The group acknowledges the patriarch's instructions, showing understanding with a respectful affirmation. The young male continues his musings, curious about the clan these strangers belong to, pondering their nature. Yet, he redirects his focus to other pressing matters at the moment, leaving his curiosity aside. He considers it's time for the children's dinner, implying a responsibility he must attend to. With joy and enthusiasm, he realizes the moment for supper has finally arrived, lighting up with excitement. The young male energetically calls out to the others, announcing that it's time to eat, displaying vibrant energy. He admits he was almost late, acknowledging their likely hunger and preparing to serve the meal with a container in hand. On the table, the black earth tiger is prominently displayed, adding a unique element to the scene. The text explains the tarantula's origin and its distinct features, highlighting its native region and significant size. The young male, addressing the tarantula named Black, reflects on the possible outcomes had his companions not been present. Observing the tarantula's reaction, he appreciates its lively response with satisfaction. He marvels at Black's growth, reminiscing about its initial size and expressing happiness at its development. With a sense of accomplishment, he notes that Black is full, signifying the end of mealtime for one of his creatures. The bewangling cave gecko is then introduced, characterized by a distinct appearance that captures attention. The young male finds the gecko endearing, describing its unique body and tail stripes with genuine admiration. He recounts past difficulties obtaining such creatures, but now finds joy in their abundance, highlighting personal fulfillment. He considers whether to refer to a previous life before inhabiting his current form, illustrating his transformation journey. Simply put, he reveals that he was formerly a streamer, shedding light on his earlier life and pursuits. He further elaborates that he had achieved 1 million subscribers, specializing in content involving dangerous creatures, marking his online fame. His main focus as a streamer was educating viewers about poisonous insects and animals, emphasizing his area of expertise. A young man is recording a live broadcast to celebrate reaching 1 million subscribers. The issue arises during this moment. The scene shifts to a list of the 10 most dangerous vipers in the world. Among them, the black mamba is highlighted as the most dangerous. The young man, sitting on a couch with a smartphone, reflects on the danger of the black mamba and his failed attempt to find it in Africa. He insists he doesn't possess it and questions the improbability of finding black mambas nearby. He decides to take a break and go look for it again, while comments from his live audience suggest different reactions, including gaming and encouragement to find it quickly. As he searches his house, he expresses his frustration and exhaustion, questioning why he can't locate it. Comments from his audience speculate on the consequences if he were bitten. Unexpectedly, he finds the black mamba curled up on top of the refrigerator, despite his earlier efforts being in vain. Suddenly, the snake bites him, eliciting shock and panic among viewers, who react with disbelief and concern about his condition. The bite proves fatal, and the young man collapses, marking the end of his life. In a different setting, a young warrior carrying the same creature contemplates the effort wasted trying to find the snake, only for it to end up above the fridge. Hearing a call addressed to a young warrior, he reacts with surprise. He peeks out, noticing a presence, and inquires if something is amiss. A man, grateful for the shelter the warrior provided from the rain, invites him to join for dinner. The warrior is informed they've caught a deer, and he repeats the revelation with surprise. He joyfully exclaims about the prospect of eating meat, reminiscing about a diet of snakes and lizards. Excitedly, he expresses his gratitude and hopes to share the meal, prompting an affirmative response from his host. As they wait for the meat to cook, the older man takes the opportunity to ask a young warrior a few questions. The warrior, slightly embarrassed, allows the elder to proceed with his inquiries. The elder asks if the warrior lives alone in the mountain range and inquires about his age. The warrior admits uncertainty about his age, estimating it to be around 14 or 15, prompting a questioning look from the elder. Explaining his predicament, he recounts a childhood accident that led to memory loss as he attempts to concoct a plausible story. In response to another question about living alone, the warrior confirms his solitude, relying on snake catching for survival due to a lack of talent. The elder comments on the danger of catching snakes, but the warrior reassures him of his comfort with the activity. The meal being ready, someone brings the cooked meat to the warrior, encouraging him to eat first. The elder acknowledges the warrior's hunger and offers the meal, which the young warrior gratefully accepts. The warrior expresses that having meat after a long time is special, holding the meal with appreciation. As he eats, he reflects on the moment as pure happiness, visibly savoring the experience. While continuing his meal, he's informed that he can listen as he eats, which piques his curiosity. The conversation turns to a search for something strange, and the elder asks if the warrior has noticed anything unusual around him. The warrior contemplates the query about something strange and remains unsure about how to respond. The elder advises the patriarch that they owe the young warrior a favor, implying it's permissible to divulge some information. The young male character is considering that since someone might not know about it, they wouldn't get into trouble. He believes that living alone means they won't tell anyone. The older character agrees with his son, saying he is right. The older male announces their purpose is to find a centipede with a blue spot on its body. The young man is surprised at the mention and repeats to himself about the blue spot. Confirming the statement earlier, the older male reveals they call it the blue spot centipede, mentioning it's large enough that the young one might have seen it. The boy is shocked and asks about its size. The young male inquires about the enormity of the centipede. The older male thinks aloud, considering its size if it turns out to be fully grown. Assessing its hugeness, the older man thinks it could easily swallow someone as large as the young warrior. Shocked, the boy exclaims about the centipede's capability to swallow a human. The boy, now intrigued, reflects on how he felt like he went back centuries in time. He wonders if this is a different world, realizing that he might have been scared as a young warrior. An elderly figure reassures not to worry, as they are there to catch the centipede. The image captures his confidence and determination. Surprised, the younger boy asks if the plan is to catch and raise it. There's curiosity in his voice as he faces the elder figures seated around him. Laughing, the elderly man finds the idea of raising a blue spot centipede amusing. He praises the young warrior's sense of humor. Skeptically, the boy questions the feasibility of raising it. The older man clarifies, saying it is meant to be used as medicine. The boy's frustration is evident in his exclamation. The young male reflects internally, thinking they appear as traders but wonders if they might actually be drug dealers. He questions how the centipede could be turned into medicine. The elderly man expresses uncertainty, revealing his granddaughter's illness and their desperation to find the centipede. His hope is apparent. The younger boy recalls that the centipede's inner core could be the only thing to save the granddaughter. He considers the urgency and importance of their quest. Affirming the familial connection, the elder male clarifies that the granddaughter is indeed his daughter. Pondering their desperate attempt to save the child, the young male reflects on how it seems they are trying everything possible for their daughter's survival. He doubts the centipede's efficacy, but acknowledges parental determination. Despite feeling sympathy for the centipede, the older male feels obligated to offer help since they have treated him kindly. The older male inquires hesitantly if the boy has ever seen the centipede. His curiosity is focused and serious. With a sense of disappointment, the young boy admits he hasn't seen the centipede. The older male nods, understanding his response. Though unfamiliar with the blue spot centipede, the older male remains inquisitive. The young boy appears to have a realization, denoted by his expression. A look of determination crosses the boy's face as he claims to have an idea of where they can find it. The scene shifts, revealing a contemplative boy known as Spicy Faber, who recalls dying from a snake bite while noting the knowledge gained along the way. Assertive and confident, he likens his expertise to being surpassing in the knowledge of poisonous animals, trusting his insights all the more. He mentally catalogs the vast world of 8.7 million species, emphasizing in particular the 20,000 known for their toxicity. A light ignites as he recalls each species, indicating the depth of his accumulated knowledge ingrained in his memory. The boy, mentioning centipedes being included in his vast knowledge, expresses a subtle confidence. The book, labeled as the Encyclopedia of Centipedes, is held with reverence as he proclaims mastery over everything that concerns poisonous creatures. He discovers the information needed, excitement mingling with clarity. The young male hints he might know the giant centipede's location, brimming with newfound certainty. Both elder males react in unison, eager to know more about the centipede's whereabouts, compelling the young male to guide them. As a collaborative move, the older men inquire whether the boy could detail the areas they've explored and the time they spent searching, seeking precision in their endeavor. A male character describes their search efforts, detailing how they focused on the north and east, mainly during the day with specific attention on the riverside in the north. Vi responds thoughtfully, acknowledging the situation and pondering why they couldn't find it. Two male characters discuss the search, with one suggesting that it's unsurprising they didn't find it. The younger figure questions this certainty. Vi confidently agrees to explain further when asked for more information. Narration introduces centipedes, noting their classification in the Arthropoda phylum and the Chilopoda class. Details about centipedes continue, explaining their wide territorial range and need for temperature and humidity regulation due to being cold-blooded. The narrative adds that unlike other insects, centipedes have poor waterproofing and porous shells. It becomes clear that centipedes do not prefer wet environments because of their weak waterproofing. The centipedes need high humidity yet dislike direct wet conditions, highlighting their survival dependence on water. Vi concludes that the blue-spotted centipede is unlikely to be found in jungles or by the river. The older male character expresses disbelief, having thought centipedes preferred hidden, moist places like rotting wood. Vi points out that while small centipedes might inhabit such places, the larger ones, like the one they search for, can't hide there. Vi adds that such large centipedes cannot remain in the jungle or near river stones as they cannot conceal themselves. The male character urgently queries Vi on where to find the blue-spotted centipede, promising a reward for this crucial information. Seated among companions, Vi simply suggests the west as a likely location. Another male character agrees with Vi, recommending exploration of the Rocky Mountains to the west. Vi elaborates on centipede habits, explaining their preference for resting under warm rocks by day and roaming at night. In the forest at night, it figure questions if the young warrior might have been mistaken. The leader decides to call off the search for the night and instructs a subordinate to signal the retreat. Around a campfire, one of the searchers expresses exhaustion and hopes that Vi's advice was accurate. Two characters bemoan the lack of success in finding the centipede, recognizing Vi's sharpness amidst their frustration. Tan Huiyan is acknowledged as an exceptional talent within the Tang family, her status a significant point of interest. A male character questioningly ponders whether fate has truly turned against Tan Huiyan, showing concern over her situation. Announcement of the Grand Patriarch's return brings surprise to a man, stirring anticipation among the group. A group of followers observe as the Grand Patriarch arrives, acknowledging his presence with a simple greeting. The Grand Patriarch inquires about today's efforts, met with confirmation of failure from his son. A male character reflects on shared failures, resigned to yet another unfruitful day of searching. A somber assessment follows, speculating that Huiyan has limited time remaining and doubts about finding what they seek in time weigh heavily. Proposing a strategy, a male character suggests searching southward the next day, given the lack of results thus far. In agreement, the Patriarch laments the continued absence of any leads, highlighting the stalled progress in their endeavor. A man is perplexed and demands an explanation, unable to believe there's nothing at all to be found. Realization dawns on the same man as he strikes his forehead, laughing at his oversight and exclaiming that he sees the truth now, regretting when he missed. Tan Chol-san acknowledges that they are in the right place after all and questions if something was sensed to confirm this location. The old man confirms there's no trace or presence detected, agreeing with what Tan Chol-san had said and leaving him puzzled. The old man emphasizes the absence of any trace, suggesting deeper implications. Despite the complete lack of evidence, the old man senses that something significant is indeed here. They spent the past 3 days searching this rocky mountain without finding any trace at all, leaving them with nothing. Contemplating the complete lack of even basic signs like animal droppings or territorial markings, Tan Chol-san is thoughtful. Tan Chol-san, shocked, considers the possibility of it being significant beyond what they anticipated. The old man confirms that it's illogical for such a large mountain to have no trace of any animal, emphasizing the strangeness. Tan Chol-san ponders the idea of a territorial animal causing this situation, trying to piece things together. The old man concludes that all creatures either fled or ended as food for the centipede, painting a grim picture. Confidently, the old man asserts that the blue-spotted centipede is indeed present, bringing hope of saving Hualyuan. Tan Chol-san expresses determination, feeling that finally they are close to a resolution. Chaos erupts as soldiers react in shock to something unexpected, shouting out in fear. Soldiers scatter as an explosion occurs, sending debris flying amidst cries of alarm. The terrifying blue-spotted centipede reveals itself, a fearsome and monumental presence to behold, leaving little doubt of its power. Under a tumultuous night sky, distant sounds echo, hinting at a massive disturbance. Inside, Vi So-ren, resting, muses aloud on the size of the centipede causing such chaos, reflecting on his orders to pursue it. Ren continues contemplating, imagining a centipede so large it could swallow him whole, bringing a mix of fear and curiosity. Ren looks eager, expressing a burning desire to witness the creature firsthand, his curiosity overcoming apprehension. The inner core of the blue-spotted centipede is revealed, a shimmering object in a wooden box exuding mystic allure. The old man, holding the box, feels relief as he acknowledges they can finally save Huayuan, emotions overcoming him. Tan Chol San requests his father to go first to Sichuan with the uninjured warriors, addressing something crucial to him. He philosophizes on the enduring nature of grudges and favors, metaphorically described as being carved on stone, underscoring their weight. The old man realizes his mistake in a moment of clarity, acknowledging his distracted thoughts concerning Huayuan. Agreeing, the old man considers the propriety of extending hospitality to a young warrior, offering whatever he desires. Tan Chol San assures the old man about arranging care for the injured and plans to visit the young warrior himself. Speculating, Tan Chol San wonders if the young warrior might be curious about their current situation, feeling a shared interest. Surrounded by small creatures, Ren inquires within about his next course of action, left pondering his role in the unfolding events. In a single night, the male becomes the father of small blue-spotted centipedes, clearly overwhelmed by the affectionate creatures nuzzling against him. He reflects on how he cleaned the centipede eggs and placed them on the nightstand when he returned home. The thought lingers with a sense of unease. Upon waking up, he finds all the centipede eggs have hatched, much to his surprise. The male had doubts about the hatching speed but never expected them to hatch so quickly. As the centipedes cling to him, he asks them to give him some space, acknowledging the problem at hand. He worries they might consider him their parent, but these centipedes are stubborn and refuse to let go of him. Recalling the events of the last night, the atmosphere is set with ominous tones and a mysterious environment. A cave entrance appears under the night sky, leading him to wonder if there's a new type of centipede so large it could swallow him, questioning his endurance. In the hideout, he contemplates the blue-spotted centipede he discovered, recalling the details. In a burst of emotion, he questions the appearance of a giant cricket, striking it with vigor. After the commotion, he's relieved to see that the 3 eggs remain unharmed. Relaxed, he notes how fortunate it is that the rain ceased, as it might have prevented him from saving even 1 egg. Realizing the urgency, he resolves to return quickly and clean the eggs, reminding himself now isn't the time to dawdle. With determination, he reassures the blue-spotted centipedes that soon his elders will give them a bath, just a little more patience is needed. Although he didn't find the living blue-spotted centipede, he feels relieved for saving the remaining eggs. Overwhelmed by the centipedes clinging to him, he asks, pleading for some space. He observes that these creatures don't require food until they've molted twice, but their presence is still a bit of an inconvenience. An idea strikes him. Entering the water will detach them on their own. This thought provides a moment of relief. The male decides it's time for a shower, although the centipedes react in surprise. Outside, another male checks if the young warrior is present in the room, knocking lightly. Looking around, he calls once more for the young warrior standing by the entrance. Inside, the man notes the presence of herbs, jars, and even medicine, contemplating their purpose. As he looks through the area, he wonders if the young warrior is practicing medicine. Realizing his actions, he considers the rudeness of entering the room without permission, a moment of self-reflection. Deciding on his next action, he resolves to return later, respecting the young warrior's space. Suddenly, a spider appears, startling him with its unexpected presence. He finds the sight unbelievable, struggling to comprehend it. The question arises, is the young warrior raising poisonous creatures along with their offspring? Reflecting further, he acknowledges that even their great poison master couldn't find a way to increase the eggs, highlighting a notable limitation. At the doors, he recalls how he believed he saved his daughter's life through a fortunate encounter, pondering the implications. The narrative begins by introducing a fortunate encounter destined for the young warrior. Tan Chol San is surprised, calling out to the elder and questions him in disbelief. A young warrior approaches Tan Chol San, concerned about an injury to his arm, and asks if he is hurt. Tan Chol San reassures him that the injury isn't significant and mentions he has something important to share. However, Tan Chol San suddenly senses a powerful energy, expressing shock and alarm. Urgency grips Tan Chol San as he commands the young warrior to run, fearing imminent danger. With blood spilling, Tan Chol San acknowledges a formidable presence akin to his father, urging the young warrior to flee. A menacing figure comments on the Tang clan's presence, surprised to see the divine sovereign's son in such a state. Tan Chol San, struggling and injured, demands to know why they are being targeted, despite not knowing the intruder's identity. The adversary taunts Tan Chol San, revealing himself as Tak Yunyang, blaming the warrior's father for his condition. Tak Yunyang appears shocked to learn that Tan Chol San, supposedly struck by poison, survives the fall, questioning his survival. Tan Chul-san pleads for the young warrior's safety, offering his own life in exchange. With a defiant scoff, Tak Yunyang declares his intention to slaughter anyone affiliated with the Tang clan. Tan Chul-san realizes the demon holds no intention of allowing the young warrior to escape unharmed. Tak Yunyang becomes startled and confused at the sudden appearance of centipedes. He questions the effectiveness of centipedes, doubting their ability to pose a threat to him. The young warrior is in disbelief, reacting to Tak Yunyang's unexpected death. Concerned, the young warrior questions if the fallen Tak Yunyang is indeed a wrongdoer. Tan Chul-san looks upon the young warrior, recognizing that he is more than just a mere guest. He determines that the young warrior must become a member of the Tang clan. The scene shifts to the aftermath of Tak Yunyang's collapse a few days later. The young warrior expresses gratitude, seeking to help by checking on the elder's companions. Tan Chul-san insists on not being left alone, though they cannot call for a doctor, emphasizing his need to rest. The young warrior is perplexed by Tan Chul-san's calm demeanor despite his serious condition. Tan Chul-san reassures the young warrior, affirming he is fine. He reveals that his resilience is due to being a martial artist, which surprises the young warrior. The young warrior repeats the term martial artist, processing this revelation. Tan Chul-san explains further, suggesting martial artists can fly and shoot fireballs, simplifying his role. The young warrior marvels at this new world, amused by unusual aspects like giant centipedes. Grateful, Tan Chul-san acknowledges the young warrior's role in saving his life, formally introducing himself despite the circumstances. Tang Chul-san introduces himself as being from the Sichuan Tang clan, while Wei Sarong introduces himself in response. Tang Chul-san, intrigued by the name, comments that Small Dragon is a good name. Wei Sarong expresses his eagerness to ask many questions, and Tang Chul-san encourages him to go ahead. Wei Sarong inquires if the creatures on his body are poisonous centipedes, and Tang Chul-san confirms they are young blue-spotted centipedes. Shocked, Tang Chul-san questions how Wei Sarong managed to tame the blue-spotted centipedes, urging him to rest. Wei Sarong, looking a bit bewildered, shares that while waiting he noticed other poisonous creatures and inquires if Tang Chul-san is raising those too. Tang Chul-san, amused, prepares Wei Sarong for a long story. Wei Sarong is enthusiastic and encourages him to proceed. Tang Chul-san begins his story about the egg of the blue-spotted centipede, hinting at an intriguing event that followed. Wei Sarong clarifies that he raised them from an egg, explaining that he could roughly predict when it would hatch. Surprised, Tang Chul-san asks how Wei Sarong could predict the egg hatching, to which Wei Sarong responds for a moment. Wei Sarong excitedly presents two creatures to Tang Chul-san, inviting him to take a closer look. Tang Chul-san observes a striped lizard with yellow and white stripes, noting its appearance. The second lizard is identified as having only two colors, a result of breeding lizards with larger white stripes. Tang Chul-san is impressed by Wei Sarong's ability to create such color, which Wei Sarong proudly confirms is pretty. Tang Chul-san inquires hesitantly if Wei Sarong could pair creatures with strong poison to create an even more dangerous one. Wei Sarong considers it possible theoretically, but shows some uncertainty about the process. Tang Chul-san elaborates that if one knew which poison was stronger, it could be feasible. Tang Chul-san expresses excitement at the possibility, surprising Wei Sarong with his reaction. In an unexpected turn, Tang Chul-san asks Wei Sarong to become part of his family. Tang Chul-san offers Wei Sarong generous access to martial arts, elixirs, and poisons if he joins the Tang clan. Enticing him further, Tang Chul-san mentions the possibility of capturing legendary poisonous creatures from the martial world. Tang Chul-san hints at his daughter being one of the three flowers of Central Plains, but Wei Sarong interrupts him. Wei Sarong, taken aback, asks for clarification on what Tang Chul-san just said. Tang Chul-san, enjoying a drink, remarks on Wei Sarong's youth, but Wei Sarong dismisses the talk of flowers, urging him to focus. Wei Sarong shows interest in the 10 great poisonous creatures, comparing their grandeur to the blue-spotted centipede. Tang Chul-san points out that while impressive, the blue-spotted centipede ranks lower than the great creatures of Central Plains. Tang Chul-san describes the magnificent poisonous creatures, like the giant scorpion and golden frog, beyond what Wei Sarong could imagine. Wei Sarong cheerfully acknowledges his success in persuading Tang Chul-san. 2 days pass, and a peaceful scene of traditional buildings in a valley is shown. A man urgently announces that the blood-hand Rakshasa Tak Yunyang has appeared, indicating his sudden development. During a gathering, a man notes that someone has been secretly enhancing his martial arts skills and had reached a level close to his father's. The group is astonished, questioning how this could be possible. Another man expresses concern to the patriarch. wondering if sending him to his demise indicates mastering the realm of 10,000 poisons. Two others join in, offering congratulations to the Patriarch for the achievement. The Patriarch, with a hint of calmness, denies having reached such a state. He subtly dismisses the notion, implying it's far from the truth. He shifts the credit to a young warrior present, acknowledging him for killing the formidable opponent. This revelation shocks others, who begin questioning the young warrior's involvement. One among them turns to the young warrior with urgency, seeking immediate confirmation of this claim. The young warrior, appearing surprised, responds affirmatively. The group expressing gratitude thanks the young warrior for saving the Patriarch. They curiously ask if he might be an elder who has undergone rejuvenation, leaving the young warrior a bit confused by the suggestion. The Patriarch gently clarifies the situation, indicating to the young warrior that a misunderstanding needs to be addressed. He requests him to show them something revealing. The young warrior, a bit unsure, ponders for a moment before consenting to show everyone what they are inquisitive about. In shock, one of the men exclaims upon realizing that the creature shown by the young warrior is indeed a centipede. Meanwhile, another explains the centipede's role in dealing with Tak Yunyang. The men express disbelief at witnessing the young warrior tame a blue-spotted centipede. They are amazed by his talent and question his ability to handle the poison. They explain that such talent prompted them to consider accepting the young warrior into their fold. However, he mentioned needing to think over this great opportunity before making a decision. The Patriarch reflects that he should get up, realizing it's important not to delay. He seems resolved and determined as his spirit energizes him physically. The young warrior curiously inquires if the elder is searching for something, indicating there may be more to uncover. A powerful and fearsome figure reveals himself as Bloodhand Rakshasa Tak Yunyang, shrouded in ominous energy. It's explained that Tak Yunyang practiced the deadly martial art Bloodhand Poison Claw. This evil practice requires human blood and bone marrow to reach significant prowess. The young warrior reacts in horror, unable to comprehend such a terrifying form of martial arts. The Patriarch emphasizes the importance of finding any remaining scrolls or disciples associated with Tak Yunyang to prevent future threats and ensure such cruel martial arts are eradicated. He also insists that if there are any captured individuals, they must be rescued. The group readily agrees to this directive. The Patriarch asks the young warrior for help, knowing his familiarity with Hanam Island's geography could be invaluable to their cause. The young warrior contemplates the implications of joining the Tang clan. He considers it a long-term commitment and silently evaluates the opportunity. However, he reassures them of his assistance once he's in better health, acknowledging the excitement his offer has created among the group. The Patriarch congratulates the young warrior for making the right decision, noting its importance in saving lives. The young warrior agrees, feeling compelled to help. With determination, the young warrior intends to fully utilize this chance to understand the essence of the Sichuan Tang clan. He decides that, similar to how companies evaluate employees, he would reverse interview the Tang clan, ensuring their values align with his. It took Mr. Chiolson 3 days to recover. Meanwhile, the group stops near an abandoned martial academy to search for the Bloodhand Rakshasa's base. The locals are asked if there have been any missing people, which causes concern among the villagers. One elderly man responds, unsure of any current abductions. The Patriarch learns that 1 or 2 people disappear annually, but there are no regular patterns of missing individuals as of now. Thanking the village chief for his information, the Patriarch expresses honor in aiding the Sichuan Tang clan, leaving the elder feeling appreciative. The Patriarch courteously asks to be excused, prompting them to wish the group a safe journey on their continued mission. Despite their efforts, the group ends their search unsuccessful, having found no significant leads. A young man wonders out loud if there's anything special about the village they are visiting while pondering thoughtfully. Another man with a serious demeanor reflects on how finding something after a particular person revealed themselves isn't easy. The young man thinks it is strange that there are no traces of what they are looking for, considering the circumstances. He recalls an encounter with a figure who laughed menacingly at him and seemed threatening, trying to remember what was said. The young man asks an elder if he remembers what that person mentioned when they made an appearance, but the elder admits he doesn't recall. The young man recalls that the elder was sent away by a powerful attack at that time, leading to a realization. They discuss how the individual may have said something about the Tang clan coming to Hainan and question whether this was the case. The young man is trying to piece together if someone had informed them about the Tang clan's presence in Hainan, be it directly or indirectly. The young man suggests they check where the Tang clan passed through with the help of a portrait to make their investigation easier. The elder is impressed with the strategy, acknowledging that if the infamous figure had said something related, there must be witnesses. The young man is confident that things will be simpler now and suggests they embark on their task immediately. Another group member remarks about hearing something at the port in Hainan, noting the village is supposedly inhabited by a strange group. They decide to approach the village, speculating that the young warrior's presence might soften any hostility from the villagers. As they near the village, the young man questions why the Han people are present, suspecting something unexpected. Tang Chiolson, the patriarch, formally introduces himself to those present, explaining the reason for their visit. Observing the village, someone notes its lifeless atmosphere and the frail appearance of a young child within it. They wonder what has happened to the villagers, suspecting they may have taken a certain substance affecting their behavior. An elderly man assures the group that no one is missing from the village and claims everything is normal. However, the elder strongly advises the group to leave, emphasizing his point with a stern look. Another villager asserts that what the group is inquiring about is not of their concern, telling them to go back. The young warrior seems nervous, recalling that they were told the villagers would be amicable towards them, which puzzles him. Suddenly, one of the villagers collapses, causing alarm among the group as they realize the gravity of the situation. The elderly man expresses his distress over the collapsed girl, revealing she is his only remaining relative. The patriarch seems taken aback by yet another person falling ill and urgently questions how it happened. Offering assistance, the patriarch mentions his understanding of medical arts, asking if he could be of help to the child. Grateful yet desperate, the elder allows the patriarch to examine the young girl, hoping for some relief. The elder explains that a plague has been ravaging the village, causing children to die while others suffer terribly. The patriarch, understanding the situation, offers to try and alleviate the suffering, bringing much-needed hope. As the villagers lead the group inside, instructions are given to swiftly bring the girl and guide the helpers to the appropriate place. Among themselves, one mentions how surprising it is that the elder knows about medical arts, reaffirming his abilities. The scene opens with a member of the Tang clan discussing their martial arts, which involves dealing with poisons. They emphasize the importance of knowing medicine, as martial arts require understanding one's body. A young man is surprised, thinking the clan was known for using poison. He hopes to join them to learn medical and poison arts for defensive purposes. He learns that they experiment with poison on wicked people, injecting them to observe reactions. The revelation of human experimentation shocks him. Reflecting on the conversation, the young man finds the people he's dealing with very intimidating and acknowledges their fearsome reputation. In a different scene, one character transfers inner Kai to stabilize a girl's breathing, with others present. Another person thanks him for his help. An elder, kneeling by the girl's side, pleads for her life to be saved, as she is his only granddaughter. Another character mentions concerns, referring to the situation with an air of urgency. Observing the girl's condition, someone notes an irregularity in her pulse and questions whether she has had a weak heart since birth. The elder reveals that she's been sick for half a year and mentions that others in the family have also become ill. The illness is described as mysterious. The elder explains why he advised leaving the village earlier due to the disease. A man proposes to give medicine for the heart and requests the villagers be gathered to try it. The elder expresses gratitude, deeply thanking the man for his aid and support. Later, under the moonlight, two characters discuss the efforts made in tending to the patients. One appreciates the hard work done by Gu Pa. They discuss the unusual symptoms of the patients, noting that they are not typical. Symptoms include lethargy, swelling in the eyes, light fever, and abnormal pulses, with mention of heart issues. They ponder about the young warrior, concluding he must have fallen asleep after helping due to tiredness. Knowing the young warrior doesn't practice martial arts, they assume his exhaustion is natural. One character decides to check on the young warrior, offering to take the patriarch to him. Suddenly, the elder shows a change in demeanor, catching others off guard with his unexpected behavior. Inside a room, a young man reacts to a sudden pain as another apologizes, claiming to have targeted a bug on his face. Confused, the young man questions the existence of the bug, seeking an explanation. Peering through the door, a man explains he stopped by to ensure the young man was all right before heading to sleep. He elaborates that a bug landed on the young man's face while he was sleeping, prompting his actions. Concerned about the venomous insects, he believed it was necessary to intervene and claims his hand moved involuntarily. Showing what seems to be a large insect, he insists on its significant size. The young man is shocked by the sight of the bug, puzzled about why it is there. He reflects on the patient's heart arrhythmia, confirming with the other that all are affected. The young man reveals that the cause of illness in the town is related to the bugs. He identifies the culprit as a species belonging to the Reduvita family, known for its blood-sucking habits. The bugs are noted for their stealth in drawing blood, earning nicknames such as vampire or assassin bugs for their silent approach. A young man discusses with another that the bugs aren't venomous, but their stomachs are full of harmful parasites. He explains that once bitten, infection is easily passed through excrement. Another explains that the bugs cause trypanosomiasis, known as the Chagas disease, and are ranked 7th in the list of deadly animals. The The young man asks the chief if the village dogs run out of breath easily or show human-like symptoms, to which the chief agrees and asks if it is due to the bugs. The young man confirms this to the chief, who seems to be realizing something significant. The chief wonders if this means the young man can save his granddaughter. He cautiously confirms that with the right medicine, it is possible. Observing the young man, Hyolsun appreciates his value in handling the situation, while another wonders what is wrong with them. The young man is surprised when someone states that they are from the Sichuan Tang family. He questions what they mean by that. Again, someone emphasizes that they belong to the Sichuan Tang family, leaving the young man to wonder aloud about the significance of this. It is explained that there's something called gu, considered either venomous parasites or witchcraft, grown by evil men in China. Hyolsun explains how these people feed the bugs to people to cause pain or control them, making them do whatever is desired. The young man is in disbelief at the idea of controlling people, finding it incredible. Hyolsun acknowledges the incredibility of the gu but warns that countless martial artists have been killed by them. Many were forced to kill their own children or betray their families, becoming slaves to these evil men, something that distresses many, including a concerned chief. Hyolsun explains that many have gone to great lengths to find an antidote against the gu. They develop cures to either expel the gu from the body or destroy them inside. The young man is startled by the implications. The statement is confirmed as right, and they ponder who could have succeeded in making such a cure. Hyolsun proudly claims that their great Sichuan Tang family is behind the cure, capable of melting a fist-sized roundworm inside the body. As they unveil the curse-melting orb, they reassure that a little of this medicine is enough, leaving the young man amazed by its name and power. The chief, relieved, is reassured not to worry, finding comfort in the presented solution. Confidently, Hyolsun assures that they can save the chief's granddaughter with the medicine and their combined efforts. Eventually, the villagers begin to recover, starting with the chief's granddaughter, leading to emotional reunions and a sense of relief. The villagers' warm hospitality serves as an unexpected reward, with their bright and cheerful expressions reflecting their gratitude toward their saviors. Hyolsun admits it would have been tough without their help in identifying the issue, revealing the young man's significance and expressing gratitude. The villagers express their profound appreciation for the young warrior's role in saving them, calling him their savior. Though the Tang family's medicine cured them, Hyolsun gives all the credit to the young warrior, acknowledging his crucial role. Hyolsun observes the gratitude directed at the young warrior, feeling satisfied and happy as they enjoy a cup of tea. The young warrior feels touched by the gratitude and acknowledgement shown to him, finding the experience moving. Over a meal, the chief recalls a conversation at the village entrance, bringing up an earlier topic related to their search. Hyolsun, remembering the inquiry, is prompted to ponder on the details of villages where people have gone missing, hinting at a bigger mystery. The chief expresses his desire to return the favor and shares a strange story he found, which points toward the mystery they need to uncover. Among the village's women, there is one from another village. She mentioned that years ago, something significant happened. The woman's hometown experienced a tragedy with people mysteriously vanishing, which shocked Tang Kal-san. Upon discovering something, the group, including Tang Kal-san, sits at the table visibly surprised. Tang Kal-san inquires about the village's location. An elder responds hesitantly, describing it as a small village to the west. As they approach a site, the group comments on the strong stench of corpses and suspects they have found the right place. Tang Kal-san reacts with shock and disbelief at the sight before him. The scene reveals a distressing view of decaying bodies with the air contaminated by toxic substances from the corpses. An elder advises a younger warrior not to look due to the gruesomeness, but the young warrior claims to have seen everything already. Suddenly, a bird appears amidst the unsettling environment, drawing attention. Someone feels compelled not to let the bird further disgrace the dead, clutching a stone with determination. Another man urges aggressively to drive the bird away, but Tang Kal-san attempts to intervene. Confusion arises as Tang Kal-san feels something unusual and demands to hold on. Observing melting remains, there's uncertainty about what's causing the destruction. With a sense of urgency, Tang Kal-san commands everyone to flee due to the looming threat. The bird is identified as a Yahello, a formidable creature with a menacing presence. Tang Kal-san describes the bird's impressive wings and striking bronze beak adorned with purple feathers. The bird's wrathful demeanor is so potent that it poisons the surroundings when enraged. Tang Kal-san notes the bird's dignified appearance and calls it a zhen, emphasizing its regal nature. A young warrior asks if it's one of the top 10 venomous creatures, receiving only an affirmative hem in response. The young warrior learns about the Yahello's status as the top venomous creature and is astounded, calling it insane. The terrifying capabilities of the Yahello make even the most venomous insects seem benign. The young warrior fears biochemical life threats. The group deduces that venomous snakes attracted the Genio, which is said to prefer snakeheads. The young warrior is startled by the rarity of the sight, as encountering a Genio is a once-in-a-century event even for those who live long lives. Astonishment takes over the young warrior, prompting Tang Kal-san to ask why he inquires. The young warrior hesitantly wonders if it's possible to catch the creature. Tang Kal-san humorously asks if the young warrior wants to catch it, while acknowledging the venom's lethal danger. Tang Kal-san observes the young warrior's interest in venomous creatures and hints there might be a way. By mastering the Tang clan's poison techniques, one could become immune to poisons and withstand the Genio's venom, an exclusive clan capability. Tang Kal-san regrets not being able to teach their techniques to outsiders, despite wanting to help and being the patriarch. The young warrior, overwhelmed, questions if joining the family would allow him to learn and become immune to the Genio's venom. Tan Chul-san sits surrounded by attentive listeners. He promises to teach without holding back if they decide now and reminds them to care for his gift as well. Tan Chul-san advises the young warrior that if he hesitates too long, he might need to think about it himself. The young warrior enthusiastically agrees to join as a member of the clan, expressing eagerness for Tan Chul-san's guidance, who reacts with excitement. Placing a reassuring hand on the young warrior's shoulder, Tan Chul-san declares him forever part of the family. The rocky entrance is ominously marked by traces of the blood hand Rakshasa Tak Yunyang. A man, surprised, finds something inside the cave, clutching a book tightly. Tan Chul-san explains that the writing in the book is in blood, identifying it as the secret technique of the blood hand poison claw. A young warrior seems shocked by this. Tan Chul-san decides to head back, intending to go to Sichuan. They secured the blue-spotted centipede's core and the secret manual. The young warrior requests to stop at the Daoist temple to release his friends, with agreement to gather belongings as well. All set, the group prepares to start their journey. Spotting something unusual, a young warrior points out an area, prompting another to question what he means. The group discovers a feather from the Genio, realizing its significance. Tan Chul-san offers the feather as a memorable gift to the young warrior, acknowledging his interest. Everything seems good, but Tan Chul-san expresses dissatisfaction with how he's being addressed by the young warrior. The young warrior queries about changing the title after a ceremony. He seems surprised at the mention of an initiation ceremony. Meanwhile, Kuning, the Grand Patriarch, is urgently running with others. The Grand Patriarch, rushing, inquires anxiously about Huiyan's condition. As they're hurrying to Huiyan, they are told she's still holding on to life. Bursting into a room, they find Huiyan, and the Grand Patriarch exclaims. A woman informs her father-in-law of bringing medicine, addressing him with concern. The woman reacts tearfully as she's handed the core of the blue-spotted centipede, amazed by the success. The Grand Patriarch, relieved, expresses urgency in administering the medicine quickly. There's an urging for Huiyan to open her eyes, with everyone focused intently. Huiyan lies still under an ethereal light as everyone waits anxiously. Exhausted, the young warrior reflects on the vastness of the Central Plains. Their long journey took them from Hainan to Hangzhou, passing through Nanjing, lasting over a month and a half. They finally arrived in Sichuan, marking the end of their travels. On arrival, Tan Chul-san introduces the young warrior to the Sichuan Tang clan, with the young one expressing surprise. The entire mountain belonging to the Sichuan Tang clan explains why it's called Tang Clan Mountain. As Tan Chul-san returns, he is greeted enthusiastically, startling the young warrior. A group of men are running, and one of them exclaims about the overwhelming number of people they are facing. There is a question posed about whether all these people belong to the Sichuan Tang clan as they rush away. A man recognizes Huiyan and expresses his relief and surprise that she is alive. Huiyan apologizes to her father as they embrace, with a shocked bystander looking on, expressing disbelief. A man reflects on whether this is truly her appearance and notes on his past with a celebrity in his previous life. Observations are made about Huiyan's radiant aura, something never seen before. A man is prompted to introduce someone to Huiyan, with a young boy appearing confused. The man introduces Huiyan as his daughter to Soryang, who recalls a previous conversation with uncertainty. The confusion continues about Huiyan's name, as Soryang recalls as weed or grass, leading to her surprise. The man corrects Soryang by clarifying that it was indeed flower, much to Huiyan's astonishment. The man identifies Huiyan as the flower that Soryang previously ignored. Huiyan is introduced as the only daughter of the Sichuan Tang clan, carrying emotional burdens since her youth. Two men discuss the uncertainty of Huiyan's talent, yet note her outstanding appearance as a worthy candidate among Murim's flowers. A wish for a suitable son-in-law is mentioned, along with a plan to have the patriarch take a second wife, but there's confusion over his resistance. Huiyum internally protests against the elders and reveals her desire to prove herself to them. She aspires to excel in martial arts and show her worth to the family despite not being a man. A warning about impatience causing one to stray from their path is presented, leading to a heart demon. It is revealed that this heart demon resulted in a Kai deviation. Huiyun is reassured by her mother about her safety, but she questions her current situation. Huiyun, distressed and apologizing to her mother, laments about wanting to be useful to her clan, feeling it's over. She reveals she has lost all her inner Kai, to which an elder responds by chiding her as a brat. The elder questions if Huiyun feels guilty for her family's suffering and asks if she reached her poison mastery goals. Huiyun is told to stop crying and to cheer up, prompting her curiosity about the 100 poisons. The elder surprises her and starts to tell a story indicating something important to share with her. The elder narrates about a mysterious young warrior who saved her life and gifted her the inner Kui of 1,000 poisons. Huiyun reacts with shock and repeats the word weed, possibly relating to past conversations. Reflecting on past events, a character realizes they must do better, comparing their past actions to those of venomous creatures. Amidst laughter about the patriarch's humor, Soryeon introduces himself to Huiyun and welcomes her warmly. Huiyun acknowledges Soryeon, who expresses his relief about her recovery from illness, leading to a brief confusion. Huiyun formally presents her own introduction with composure. Tang Huiyun expresses her gratitude to the young warrior for saving her life and vows never to forget his favor, identifying herself as the poisonous flower. The young man is captivated, finding Huiyun's presence to be immensely pretty. Hyolsun inquires about the young man's thoughts, prompting the young man to ponder the mysterious voice inside his head. Hyolsun suggests that despite her thinness, Huiyun's attractiveness is undeniable. Hyolsun questions if the young man would like to become better acquainted with Huiyun. The young man observes the creatures obediently entering a bucket when advised about hot water, which surprises him. He finds the behavior of the creatures responding as if they understood him to be quite mysterious. The young man thinks about Mr. Hyolsun's remark that the creatures seem to react to killing intent. The young man feels embarrassed about being stared at while he is naked by the creatures. He laughs at the creatures, finding amusement in their antics. Reflecting on Mr. Gupei's claim, the young man wonders about the nature of these spiritual creatures. Despite the distractions, the young man struggles to calm down due to Hyolsun's earlier statements. Hyolsun decides to assign the East Wing room to the young warrior. In a conversation, it's noted that the young warrior's involvement was intentional rather than chance encounter, emphasizing his talent. Hyolsun praises the young warrior for his extraordinary knowledge of venomous creatures and mentions his notable achievements. It's revealed the young warrior successfully hatched the blue-spotted centipede's eggs himself, impressing others. An elder expresses amazement at such a valuable discovery, acknowledging the young warrior as a treasure. Hyolsun calls Huiyun, capturing her attention with curiosity. Hyolsun expresses a desire to make the young warrior his son-in-law, seeking opinions on this future plan. Huiyun contemplates how her enhanced poison constitution could benefit the clan, pondering her newfound abilities. She acknowledges her understanding of her father's intentions, being a member of the Tang clan herself. Determined, Huiyun decides to personally assess whether the young warrior is deserving of her. Hyolsun advises caution to the young warrior. As Huiyun races down the hallway, she contemplates her thorny resolve despite her beauty. She is resolute to verify the young warrior's personality thoroughly, understanding the elders will acknowledge her only if she presses forward. The young man is lost in thought, wondering about his next course of action. He considers the possibility that Huiyun might hold a grudge against him. The young man seeks advice from the creatures, unsure of what steps to take. Startled, he reacts as Huiyun suddenly calls out to him, catching him off guard. The young man is surprised to find himself face-to-face with a concerned Huiyun, who addresses him with familiarity. Tanhua Lin apologizes, needing a moment from the young warrior, unsure of what to say next. Her expression shows she's under pressure, seeking a brief pause in their conversation. So Ren feels the urgency and asks Tanhua Lin for her hand, explaining he is in a hurry, indicating a requirement for assistance. So Ren readily agrees to Tanhua Lin's request, finding no problem in complying, standing ready to help her. So Ren expresses confusion about the rush, questioning the timing and suggesting that such actions be done after a bond has formed. His words show his uncertainty about the situation. Tanhua Lin stands firm, explaining there's a sequence to such acts. So Ren is puzzled, asking for clarification about her intentions. Tanhua Lin insists her intention isn't what Soren assumes and asks him about his interpretation, seeming to dispel a misunderstanding. Soren appears somewhat relieved, repeating the statement with a doubtful hint, clearing up the confusion. Tanhua Lin clarifies her real intention was to check Soren's pulse, stressing that sudden actions led to his misinterpretation. so Ren acknowledges, laughing it off as a mistake. Tanhua Lin apologizes for her abrupt behavior, explaining her unplanned approach. She admits her rudeness, sitting beside Soren. Tanhua Lin appreciates his maturity despite his youth and seeks to explain this situation further, indicating a conversation to unfold. Soren agrees with a bit of surprise. Soren listens, learning about a plot that sounds like a medieval drama, observing how typical such stories seem to him. Tanhua Lin outlines her challenges as the direct descendant, dealing with family schemes. She mentions the elder's strategy to bring in a competent son-in-law to secure the family's future. Soren reflects on how his family status could change if he were involved, understanding the implications. Tanhua Lin decides to confirm something important, apologizing in advance. Tanhua Lin reassures Soren of her sincere intentions, considering them as sworn siblings instead of any other binding relationship, asserting his value as a benefactor. Soren acknowledges Tanhua Lin's intent, granting her permission to verify what she needs, showing his understanding and willingness. Tanhua Lin begins the process, touching Soren's wrist, ready to proceed with examining his pulse. Tanhua Lin explains that mastering Tang Clan's martial arts requires specific skills, stressing that only certain individuals can handle the toxins involved in the mastery. Others might not succeed. She continues, detailing that the Tang Clan's poison techniques require adaptation to various poisons for integral growth, possible only through complete acceptance. Fortunately, Tanhua Lin reveals that Soren's body is suited for learning poison techniques, but with specific limitations. She explains Soren's capacity as a 10 poisons body, meaning he can handle only 10 types of poison, elaborating on this rare ability. Soren questions the gravity of having a 10 poisons body, especially for those outside the Tang Clan inheritance, expressing confusion about the implications. Tanhua Lin conveys that such a body might not elevate his martial abilities beyond a certain level, contesting his innate potential. Tanhua Lin apologizes and decides to leave, with Soren acknowledging her departure, expressing his care. Soren processes the information about having a 10 poisons body, grasping its significance, and repeats the concept to himself. He wonders about the implications of his body's abilities regarding the genia, understanding the seriousness of the matter. Tanhua Lin notices a peculiar scent emitting from her body after consuming the centipede's core, questioning this strange occurrence despite her hygiene habits. Soren ponders whether this situation is a punishment for his perceived disrespect towards his benefactor, finding the scenario troubling. Soren feels immense gratitude, acknowledging the profound kindness he's received, though confusion lingers, creating an uncertain moment. Tanhua Lin thanks Soren, recognizing the support and bond they've formed, reaching out in appreciation amidst the ambient surroundings. Soren wonders if he's in a dream, then Tanhua Lin clarifies that the situation is real, though it might seem surreal. The woman confesses to having borrowed the appearance of the girl who consumed her inner core, explaining it was to avoid startling him. She introduces herself as the mother of the blue-spotted centipede creatures. The man is shocked by the revelation of the blue-spotted centipede and is quite startled by something else. 3 children approach him, expressing concern and playfully wondering why he scared them. As he looks at the 3 little girls, he ponders if they are the offspring of the centipede creature, and he realizes they all are girls. The man grapples with how the woman appeared in his dream. The woman begins to explain, but hesitates. She recounts her death at the hands of others, leaving her children behind. Her grudge lingered, and this allowed her spirit to remain within her inner core. While residing within the girl who consumed her core, she cursed her, which enabled her to appear in the man's dream to resolve her grievance. The woman thanks him for bringing her children to her. The man acknowledges his role in revealing her location, expressing a realization. Despite not intending harm, the man feels guilty for his role in the blue-spotted centipede's death. The woman asks whether he would fulfill a request of hers, referring to him as her benefactor. He readily agrees, promising to fulfill any request she might have. She requests that he take care of her children until they are fully grown. The man is puzzled about the independence of centipedes. The woman explains that unlike lesser creatures, her species requires more care. Until they shed their shells twice, her offspring depend on the energy flowing from the mother's inner core before they can feed independently on other beings. The man realizes that because the girl consumed the inner core, the children need to stay close to her. The woman emphasizes his need to understand the situation. He recalls how she mentioned cursing the girl, seeking confirmation from her. Due to her inner core, the girl's body might emit a foul odor, the woman explains. She intended for the girl to never attract men or have children by cursing her with this odor. As a trade-off for lifting the curse, she offers her children's ability to absorb energy from her inner core, suggesting the man might win the girl's heart this way. The man politely declines, uncomfortable with the notion of exploiting the girl's predicament. The woman acknowledges his nobility, appreciating his integrity as her benefactor. Despite his noble intentions, she questions how he plans to tackle the challenge ahead, suggesting that the girl seeks a strong man. She admits that she can't retrieve her inner core as it already resides within the girl's body. The man is bewildered by the mention of 10 great venomous creatures. The man proposes he has an idea and asks the woman to trust him on this. He assures her to leave it to him, confident that his plan will succeed. The next day, the woman sits next to Tan, acknowledging her understanding of the situation. She realizes the odor from her body comes from the blue-spotted centipede's inner core. Tan explains that if she allows the centipedes to absorb the energy periodically, the odor will gradually vanish. The woman feels discomfort in asking for further details as it appears awkward to her. She questions whether it's fair for Tan to assist her, without demanding anything in return, acknowledging he could have asked for compensation. Tan admits he wouldn't exploit a woman in a difficult situation, maintaining his integrity by refusing to do something shameless. A young woman in red tells the boy beside her that she can't continue to accept kindness without offering something in return, indicating her sense of gratitude and responsibility. The boy listens attentively, possibly pondering her words. With determination, she reflects on her father's advice, expressing realization that there are things more valuable than talent or martial prowess, and credits this understanding to seeing the boy brother Soyeon. The boy excitedly reveals that he too has been thinking and doing some soul-searching. The girl, curious about his thoughts, responds with intrigue. The boy recalls her mention of his unique ability to absorb only 10 kinds of toxins, wanting clarification. She nervously confirms his statement. An idea forms in the boy's mind. If he can only handle 10 toxins, he's considering filling those slots deliberately. He elaborates his plan to fill the slots with toxins from the 10 most venomous creatures of the Central Plains, showing his audacious thinking and ambition. She appears shocked at the notion of using such toxins, her mind racing to comprehend the implications of his daring plan. Internally, she muses about his intention to become the strongest under the heavens for her sake, revealing her surprise and the deep impact of his words. Blushing, she reacts intensely, overwhelmed by the bold proposition he subtly implied, aware of the significance of his commitment in their context. In a rare moment of vulnerability, she questions if he truly understands the gravity of what he suggested, her voice tinged with disbelief. She warns him that the path he wishes to take is incredibly tough. It might require a lifetime of effort, illustrating the magnitude of his choice. With blushes still present, she mentions his age, acknowledging his nearing maturity and the implications for their future together in 3 years when he comes of age. She challenges him to succeed with one of the 10 great venomous creatures to prove himself worthy, setting a condition for her acceptance. Knowing the impact of her words, she hints at the possibility of their wedding, but struggles to fully express her feelings and plan. She encourages him, albeit awkwardly, to pursue his goal while expressing her support, prompting the boy's startled reaction as she exits hastily. The girl quickly departs, leaving the boy astonished, confused by her sudden retreat just after their intense discussion. Calling after her, he reaches out, seeking clarity on what she left unsaid, his voice full of urgency and concern. He pauses, suggesting that she should get treated and perhaps stay a while longer, encouraging care and connection. The implication lingers uncertainly. Reassuringly, he talks about the creatures that accompany him. He assures her they're harmless, attempting to lighten the mood with gentle humor. He playfully addresses the small creatures, calling them over, further demonstrating his ease and lightheartedness despite the situation. Her surprise is clear as he casually refers to familial roles, catching her off guard with unexpected familiarity and assumptions. Her shock intensifies at the mention of parental titles in their conversation, clarifying her worry over potential misunderstandings. In another setting, seated at a large table, adults discuss the young warrior's abilities and his aim to win their daughter's heart, showcasing external perspectives. Someone reflects on an observed encounter between the young warrior and Huayan, indicating Huayan's apparent rejection, fueling further speculation. An elder acknowledges that forcing a marriage isn't right, advocating for natural development of feelings instead, wisdom guiding their decisions. A suggestion is made for Huayan to oversee the young warrior's training, proposing that time spent together might promote a deeper connection. Discussions turn to enhancing the young warrior's aptitude, hoping the elder healer's elixir could aid him, though expectations are tempered by past experience. Agreeing on the complexities, they ponder the truth of their plan, recognizing the challenge with thoughtful consideration, mindful of implications for all involved. As Huayan announces her presence, curiosity about the purpose of her visit fills the room, marking an unexpected convergence of their plans and her intentions. The man invites Huayan to enter, concluding their musings with a clear indication that they await her input and presence in their plans. The young woman enters a room where 3 others are seated, surprised to find them all present at the same time. she exclaims with shock, drawing their attention to her unexpected arrival. Standing at the head of the table, she states that she has something important to say, prompting curiosity from the seated guests who inquire about the nature of her announcement. With determination and a shaky voice, she declares that she is committed to doing as her father instructed, emphasizing her resolve to follow his guidance. One of the men asks her what she is talking about, seemingly confused. She responds with hesitation, drawing a connection to a young warrior who has piqued her interest, suggesting a romantic implication. The woman beside her expresses surprise and amusement at the sudden development. She had not expected her to take a liking to the young warrior so quickly, noting the unexpectedness of the situation. Blushing, the young woman reflects on the young warrior, Soryeon, and mentions him directly, indicating her thoughts are centered around him. She appears introspective and slightly embarrassed. The young woman shares that Soryeon promised to become the greatest in the world for her sake. Her female companion is delighted and curious, while another man is in disbelief at the grand promise. He asks her to explain further, interested in what she has to share. She begins to describe Soryeon's innate talent, which is only at the level of 10 Poison's body, hinting at his significant challenge. Explaining further, she reveals that Soryeon promised to fill his gap in ability by defeating 10 great venomous creatures, showing his commitment to her. The men find the story amusing, admiring Soryeon's guts. They laugh at the boldness of the promise, acknowledging that finding a suitor like him is indeed a rare occasion. Despite her willingness, the young woman clarifies she only agreed to marriage if he manages to capture one of the 10 great venomous creatures before coming of age. She shares this condition openly. She wonders aloud if Soryeon understood her response, showing uncertainty about whether her challenge was clear to him, considering her feelings and the situation. Her female companion questions why she didn't ask for 3 creatures instead of 1, suggesting that her expectations might have been too low. They reflect on men's understanding of romance. The young woman considers going to explain the situation to Soryeon more clearly, yet her companion advises against it, reasoning that his increased effort would emerge naturally from not stating it openly. An elder man advises her to consider Soryeon a prospective son-in-law for now, to maintain an appearance of indecision, keeping him motivated through uncertainty. Encouraged by this strategy, they agree that with all his efforts, Soryeon will naturally become part of the family, seeing it as a matter of time and proving himself. The scene shifts, showing a gesture of acknowledgement and amazement towards the benefactor, admiring the impressive dedication demonstrated by this character. In a cheerful, lively scene, children play and the young woman praises the benefactor for winning the lady's heart through perseverance, emphasizing the significance of guts. The benefactor admits that today might be their last as his resentment has been resolved, and he prepares to ascend to the afterlife, making a solemn announcement. In a moment of sincerity, the young woman with readiness offers to do anything he requests, reflecting her gratitude and respect for his actions. The benefactor hesitates, pondering her offer, showing thoughtfulness and consideration as he formulates his request. He eventually asks if he can take a look at her body, inquiring with an innocent curiosity that seems to surprise the young woman. Surprised yet understanding, she acknowledges that such a request is to be expected of a man and indicates her willingness to comply with his wish. The panel focuses on her shoulder, conveying a hint of vulnerability. It seems he has a weakness for lust, suggesting a deeper, underlying characteristic of his. Both characters appear flustered, debating whether she should remove her garment, sparking a humorous misunderstanding about his intentions. The children cover their eyes, exclaiming with surprising innocence, while the young woman clarifies the misunderstanding, insisting that was not her intention. The benefactor clarifies he wanted to see the appearance of a blue-spotted centipede, not her body, clarifying the earlier confusion and resolving the misunderstanding. Realizing the true intent behind the request, she expresses relief and slight embarrassment, acknowledging the clarity of the situation. A dramatic image of a large, fierce creature appears, suggesting the prowess and mystery of the blue-spotted centipede, captivating the benefactor's attention. The benefactor stands in awe, marveling at the size and authenticity of the creature, expressing exuberant admiration for its magnificent presence. A young man nervously asks if he can touch a large creature, to which it promptly replies it's already being touched. Curious, he wonders if the creature is waterproof and how its massive size can support its joints. The young man speculates about the creature's walking pattern, questioning if it steps exactly on its front legs' marks. He then inquires if he can touch its legs, only to hear they were already touched. He asks about the creature's venom strength and questions if it sees with its eyes or antennae. 2 children, startled by the question, react with surprise. The young man eagerly asks to touch the creature's fangs, but is met with resistance, as the request is seen as dangerous. He reminds the creature of its promise to grant any request. The creature, confused about the young man's bizarre request, wonders if its daughters will be okay while pondering the situation silently. The young man is shown in awe, reflecting internally that the creature's touch could never be ordinary. He emits gleaming, chitinous carapace. In a different setting, an older man addresses the young man respectfully, almost calling him a young warrior but correcting himself to young master Soryeon. The woman tells Soryeon that she's heard everything from Huayin, and that he will be treated as their son-in-law, much to his surprise. Confused, Soryeon expresses concern over the timeline, thinking he had to wait 3 years. However, he's told the wedding is set for when he's of age, leading to more confusion. An elderly woman welcomes Soryeon as her son-in-law, with laughter about the match with Huayin, bringing prosperity to the clan and leaving Soryeon puzzled. Soryeon, in a questioning tone, mentions Lady Huayin, receiving a silent and enigmatic smile in response. Huayin reflects internally, questioning the sudden acceptance into the marriage without prior discussion, pondering the situation in silence. As they gather around a table, Soryeon decides to play along for the moment while voicing his anticipation of guidance from everyone present. Soryeon is informed before learning the clan's poison arts. There's something essential to show him, leaving him intrigued and curious. An elder mentions the Hall of 10,000 Poisons, guaranteeing it to be something Soryeon will absolutely love, sparking his interest. The group walks together toward their destination, acknowledging that they have been waiting for this significant moment. Soryeon is guided by an elder, excited to take his first steps into the Hall of 10,000 Poisons, a cherished family tradition. Soryeon, contemplating the Hall of 10,000 Poisons, assumes it must house a vast variety of poisons, wondering about the implications. Huayin, enjoying a serene moment, evokes a sense of calmness and awe as Soryeon internally marvels at her presence. Soryeon thinks about admiring beauty from the side, likening the scene to a photo shoot come to life, struck by Huayin's elegance. An elder teases Soryeon about staring at Huayin, jesting about him being smitten as Huayin stands beside him, prompting his embarrassment. Soryeon is cautioned to watch where he walks, responding with an understanding nod, while being gently chided by a group member. The scene shifts to a view of the landscape with a brief note that a short while has passed. Inside a grand place, an authoritative figure welcomes the Grand Patriarch with a formal greeting, establishing respect. Soryeon, following the group, finds the security unexpectedly tight, observing the measures as they approach the Hall of 10,000 Poisons. An order to open the gates is loudly proclaimed, met with immediate compliance by the guards present. The gatekeeper comments on opening the gates quicker than usual today, causing surprise for Soryeon, who stands beside Huayin. With a welcoming gesture, the gatekeeper invites Soryeon and the others to proceed into the open gates ahead. The gates are revealed to be made from special steel, a source of pride and a significant honor to open, as Soryeon expresses disbelief at their importance. The group arrives at their destination, and the elder leader announces it, signaling the completion of their journey. Soryeon finds himself inside a place, realizing that it's the treasure trove where the Tang clan of Sikwon stores all its poisons. He stands there, taken aback by the revelation and the potential dangers surrounding him. An elder explains to Soryeon that they are in the Hall of 10,000 Poisons, a chamber not to be trifled with. The elder advises caution, warning Soryeon not to touch anything recklessly as they stand inside the immense chamber. Soryeon acknowledges the elder's caution and confirms his understanding that it's the chamber of 10,000 poisons. He notices everything stored in jars and boxes, wondering about their contents, while the elder confirms this with a simple exactly. The elder further details that the poisons are carefully categorized, listing types like paralysis and sleep poisons. As the conversation continues, another elder suggests that Huayin should explain more about the poisons to Soryeon. The elder believes that Soryeon would enjoy hearing the explanation from Huayin more, while another elder agrees, prompting Huayin to comply. Huayin, appearing somewhat flustered and called upon by her father to explain things further, hesitantly agrees. Soryeon watches, seemingly intrigued by what Huayin might say as she prepares to speak. The scene shifts as Huayin guides Soryeon, offering to show him the strongest poisons of the Tang clan first. Soryeon nervously agrees, seemingly surprised and intrigued at the mention of the strongest poisons. Huayin begins explaining the potency of a dissipating poison feared by martial artists due to its ability to render inner energy unusable upon inhalation. Two elders observe Soryeon and Huayin, commenting on how adorable they look together. Huayin continues listing other deadly concoctions like alimentary canal necrotizing poison and bloody filth poison. Huayin touches a drawer, emphasizing that despite the potency of these poisons, the Tang clan's strongest poison is different and even more formidable. It's hinted that this particular poison stands in a league of its own beyond the already potent collection. Soryeon receives something from Huayin, curious about the small item handed to him. He questions what the object could be, holding it with interest as she entrusts him with it. Soryang examines the item closely, realizing it resembles a bean or a seed. Haunted by uncertainty, he compares it to a tiger bean, clearly amazed by its appearance despite any dangerous implications. Huayan asserts that even aside from the infamous venoms of 10 great creatures, the item she handed to Soryang represents the most powerful poison in existence. Her grave demeanor confirms the significance of what she just disclosed. Soryang learns that the object is the seed of the caster plant, a symbol of the Tang clan. The revelation leaves him stunned as the caster seed's identity heightens the gravity of the situation. Connecting the dots, Soryang identifies the substance as ricin, a poison substantially stronger than cyanide, leaving him visibly shocked. The mention of it being a highly lethal toxin capable of magnifying danger only compounds his unease. Huayan confirms his suspicions and clarifies that the poison is indeed close to the Tang clan's ideal of something formless, tasteless, and odorless. She adds that they name it the rarest and most prized of poisons, the golden poison. Overwhelmed by what he's heard, Soryang contemplates the term golden death, which refers to the application of the golden poison in lethal scenarios. This concept strikes him deeply, reflecting the level of threat the poison represents. Huayan takes a serious tone, reminding Soryang that the strongest poison is not necessarily one that delivers gruesome or overt deaths. She indicates that the most effective poisons kill silently and without trace, reflecting the philosophy of their clan. The narrative unveils the Tang clan's aspiration toward that same ideal in their poison arts, revolving around stealth and certainty. Soryang acknowledges that the clan is essentially a group of assassins, recognizing the implications of their lethal mastery. As this explanation reaches its conclusion, one elder mentions that it's enough for now. Soryang and Huayan seem to acknowledge the wisdom in pausing the lesson for the moment, given what's been shared. The elder expresses eagerness to show Soryang the venomous beasts next, to which Soryang expresses excitement. The elder proposes not just observing, but possibly overseeing the care of these beasts, appealing to Soryang's curiosity. Enthusiastic yet cautious, Soryang is surprised by the offer, questioning if the clan would truly support his interests to this extent. The elder reassures him that the clan is committed to providing full backing for any requirements related to his hobby. Just as they prepare to depart, there's a sudden interruption directed at the patriarch, urging immediate attention. This command catches everyone's attention, signaling urgency that pulls focus from their plans. Alarmed, Yupei urgently demands what the matter is, indicating the pressing nature of the situation. His expression underscores the sudden shift in mood and the gravitas of the call to action. An immediate directive follows, instructing a party to head to the Black Tortoise Pavilion. Soryang is left puzzled by the sudden directive, wondering why there is such urgency to go there. As the group reacts to the sudden turn of events, one elder surmises that the clan's elders are up to something suspicious. Yupei, realizing the implication, queries aloud about these elders and their uncertain motives. Yupei brings up two issues that require urgent attention without explaining further, piquing curiosity about the unfolding situation. His expression suggests the complexity of the problems at hand. The first issue involves medicines sent to the Sichuan city lord, which failed to work as intended, causing dissatisfaction. A shadowy figure reviews a letter of complaint, which underscores the severity of the mishap. Yupei seems flustered as he reveals the existence of a second problem, maintaining an air of mystery. Soryang listens intently, yearning for further explanation about this new issue. Two elders express concern about rumors circulating regarding the Hall of 10,000 Poisons. Their mutual acknowledgement hints that the rumors are significant enough to warrant serious attention. One elder suggests making a move now, instructing Soryang to accompany them. Soryang consents, preparing to follow their lead as the situation unfolds, unsure of what lies ahead. The narrative concludes with a scene of the Black Tortoise Pavilion, setting the stage for the next chapter of events. The atmosphere suggests anticipation for the matters pressing the Tang clan, readying for resolution. A group questions the Grand Patriarch's decision, expressing disbelief over a critical choice made without consultation. They challenge the pairing of an orphan of unknown origins with Huayan, highlighting their discontent. A man with a mustache reacts with astonishment and repeats the phrase about the orphan of unknown origins, emphasizing his disbelief and concern. Another man, defending his son-in-law, asks if they're insulting him. A younger man nervously agrees, acknowledging the truth of the claim made against his son-in-law. The Grand Patriarch declares he made the decision. One voice tremblingly refers to him as the Grand Patriarch, showing surprise and respect for his authoritative stance. A young man, exasperated, requests the Grand Patriarch to talk sense into the Patriarch. He's frustrated over entrusting the hall's management to an outsider, hinting at perceived absurdity. Soryang apologizes to Huayan, acknowledging some fault. The young man internally despairs, sensing trouble from outside interventions and worry. The young man feels guilty, realizing he caused Huayan to worry. He insists it should not be Huayin apologizing, indicating a sense of responsibility. A group of elders is interrupted as they query something, shown by question marks above their heads. They're intruding on someone's assertion and conversation. Soryang reflects on his lack of ability being the root of these issues. He perceives the discussion stemming from his own failures and inadequacies. Soryang proposes to demonstrate his skills and prove himself to the elders. He wants to satisfy their doubts by showcasing his abilities. As an example of his capabilities, Soryang aims to resolve a troubling issue involving the Sichuan city lord. He's eager to exhibit his problem-solving skills. Huayin and another character express surprise over Soryang's intention. They appear shocked, trying to understand what he plans to do. Soryang vows to protect his peaceful life, hinting at a disruption. Imagery of an idyllic pet owner life contrasts with potential chaos. The elders, visibly angry, question Soryang's audacity. Their anger is palpable as they express outrage over being interrupted. One elder chastises Soryang for interrupting the clan leaders. He questions Soryang's awareness of an important letter from the city lord, underscoring his boldness. Huayin quietly expresses to another character that Soryang has dared to intrude. The other remarks on the importance of having someone respectable from an established clan instead. Soryang internally comments on the absurdity of the elders' statements, viewing their words as increasingly ridiculous. He finds their reasoning unfounded. A vivid scene of online interaction is depicted with many viewers. The image of a host greeting subscribers reflects a large fan base and popularity. Soryang reflects on still being a guest, facing rejection for the son-in-law title. The elders refuse to recognize him, reinforcing his outsider status. He acknowledges the chaos caused by his online fans and states his significant achievements. Soryang recounts holding a daughter and defeating a major threat, reinforcing his value. Soryang questions if insulting a guest is part of the clan's etiquette. He compares the malice here to online trolling, describing it as less severe. An elder clears his throat nervously, admitting they spoke in haste. He attempts to justify their actions as a reaction out of desperation. Further objections arise about the validity of Soryang's actions. Some are skeptical about his feat, finding it far-fetched despite evidence. An elder hands Soryang a document affirming his words. The elder insists there's truth in Soryang's statements, urging others to verify the claim. A shocked group identifies the document as the Blood Hand Poison Art's secret manual. They recognize its authenticity and react with disbelief over its contents. Another elder instructs Soryang to show the spotted centipedes. A mutual understanding unfolds about what these creatures represent. Soryang invites the elders' attention towards something significant. He urges them to observe carefully, implying its of importance. Soryang presents yellow-spotted centipedes, surprising the elders with their unexpected appearance. Their astonishment is quite visible. One character reveals these centipedes are deadly, raised by Soryang. The revelation that they defeated a significant threat astounds an elder. With a lighthearted remark, an elder acknowledges Soryang's skill, amused by his prowess. Laughter eases the tension as the elder calls him a young warrior, conceding to his abilities. The elder clears his throat, questioning who implied they wouldn't acknowledge a person. He explains that there's a process to these things, and bypassing it causes hesitation from the patriarch. The patriarch sighs, suggesting they set aside the son-in-law issue. He wonders why entry to the Hall of 10,000 Poisons is restricted. They explain the person hasn't fully joined the family, noting the tension in trusting a young warrior who isn't of age with such responsibility. The patriarch agrees, stressing the significance of the Hall of 10,000 Poisons, and contemplates the simple solution. He asks if the young man can demonstrate his ability, to which the young man confidently agrees. The young man pledges to prove his worth to the Sichuan Tang clan, promising to do it their way. The method involves using poison, shocking the onlookers who react dramatically. There's confusion about whether the plan involves poisoning the city lord, which the young man corrects, explaining it's about delivering medicine. The young man seeks confirmation from the patriarch, pondering the clan's connection to poison, noting how nothing goes straightforwardly. The next day, the young man stands before the patriarch for further instructions. The patriarch describes this as a test, saying the young man will learn the Tang clan's martial art, the 5 Venoms returning technique, exciting the young man. The young man inquires about physical training, and the elder affirms it, noting that his body will naturally adapt to the martial arts practiced. Emphasizing practicality, the elder wants the young man to learn skills applicable in real scenarios. They will begin with throwable weapons, categorizing them into 5 types, including needles and knives. The patriarch tests the young man on weapon handling, who guesses that the dagger or throwing knife is the easiest. Asked about the most difficult, the young man surmises it might be powder due to the scattering challenge. Correcting him, the elder reveals the needle's difficulty, explaining its small size and the need for precision in throwing. The elder further explains the complexity lies in remembering the throw's exact position, offering a demonstration. Surprised, the young man sees a brush, confused by its purpose. He's shocked when the bristles start embedding like needles. The elder introduces the sky-obscuring flower rain technique, a secret art involving a rain of needles blanketing an area. The young man questions the feasibility of using such a technique, worried about space to move during a fight. The patriarch confirms this reason behind remembering needle positions to avoid falling victim to one's own technique. The young man wants to know if he must remember needle positions deflected by opponents, to which the patriarch assents. To begin mastering the 5 poisons body, memorizing at least 100 positions is necessary, overwhelming the young man. The young man wonders if he prepared correctly and is greeted by Lady Huiyin. Surprised by her outfit, she explains she got ready to catch a hornet, wondering if it's necessary. The young man, insisting it wasn't needed, mentions he intended to wait for a hornet, explaining they could capture it themselves. Lady Huiyin is still puzzled, expecting she'll understand once they get there. Walking together, the young man assures her he's found a nearby hornet's nest, and they can proceed immediately. A young man nervously addresses the woman beside him, inquiring about the letters sent to the city lord of Sichuan province and if she has seen it. The woman confirms that she has. The young man named Sorion is concerned about the contents of the letter due to his age, fearing he might not fully understand it, which is his main worry. An exclamation, "Ah," escapes him as he expresses his concern. Another figure looms in the background, declaring the importance of Yang Kai in men, which causes Sorion and the woman, Lady Huiyin, to sweat and stammer, realizing she is already aware of the issue. Sorion reveals the major issue troubling the city lord of Sichuan, pondering it with a serious tone. It's none other than erectile dysfunction. Lady Huiyin skeptically notes how much Sorion seems to know for his age, to which he replies that living alone for a while has increased his knowledge, but she still finds this suspicious. Sorion suggests they get moving quickly, addressing Lady Huiyin as they run across a courtyard in haste. The scene transitions to a forest, with Lady Huiyin acknowledging their arrival and Sorion confirming that this is indeed the place they were looking for. As they stand before a rocky cave, they affirm this is the correct location. Their confidence in the place is evident. While putting on protective gear, Lady Huiyin questions Sorion about the meaning of finding a bee-lacking hive, expressing confusion. Sorion explains their purpose was to find hornets, but clarifies they won't actually capture any, which surprises Lady Huiyin. Sorion elaborates that the venomous insect they seek can be found in smaller, weaker hives, revealing part of their plan. They confirm that there is a venomous insect that lives in these hives, affirming the peculiar nature of their find. Sorion seems relieved as he indicates that the discovered hive has exactly what they're searching for, smiling confidently. With a swift motion, Sorion captures a small insect, exclaiming triumphantly, while Lady Huiyin watches in awe. Lady Huiyin questions Sorion if the caught insect could be our target. Sorion confirms it, stating that this is indeed the insect they were after. Sorion, pleased with the capture, states that this small creature will solve the troubles of the Sichuan city lord, highlighting their success. Lady Huiyin looks at the bug in Sorion's hand and points out her curiosity about this bug, seeking more details from him. Sorion identifies the bug as a ground beetle, and Lady Huiyin realizes that this is what it's called in their current era. The text clarifies that the bug caught in the giant hornet nest is known as a ground beetle in the Central Plains, with a modern name as a blister beetle. Lady Huiyin admits her ignorance about ground beetles being found in hornet nests. Sorion mentions their peculiar life cycle to explain their unusual habitat. It is explained that blister beetles have a unique method of reproduction, unlike most insects that guard or create safe environments for their eggs. The peculiar nature of the beetle is shown as it lays its eggs indiscriminately, without care for their safety or location. The beetle lays eggs wherever it wants, without fuss, and clusters at a bare minimum of consideration, emphasizing its lack of selectiveness. As the blister beetle larvae hatch, they begin crawling upwards towards the highest point they can find, ready for their next unusual move. When the larvae of these blister beetles reach the top, they engage in bizarre behavior, surprising anyone who observes them. They cluster together to imitate a flower, creating an illusion that is almost astonishingly convincing in its mimicry. A bee, mistaking the fake flower for a real one, approaches it, taken in by the insect's convincing deception. The bee is puzzled, realizing it doesn't remember a flower being in that location before, questioning the sudden appearance. As the bee gets close enough, the insect swarm leaps into action, with their true intentions becoming apparent. The swarm quickly engulfs the carpenter bee, ensuring his home is now gone. This marks the completion of their insect mission, game over for the bee. Huiso observes that giant hornet nests are great for ground beetle larva growth, expressing surprise at this fact. In a gentle manner, Tanhua comments on the misfortune of a giant hornet, acknowledging that not much can be done about it. Tanhua questions Waiso about the possibility of the beetle causing burns on the skin, suspecting the dangers of consuming too much. The orange liquid from the blister beetle consists of cantharidin, which causes skin blisters similar to burns when touched. Tanhua contemplates the effects of the toxin, acknowledging that the effects persist until the toxin exits the body. Waiso humorously suggests that the substance has the immediate effect of raising a person. In a sudden urge, Tanhua interrupts Waiso, insisting they return to the Hall of 10,000 Poisons quickly. Later, they instruct warriors at the Hall of 10,000 Poisons on how to prepare the medicine thoroughly. Waiso begins instructions on drying and grinding the beetle, emphasizing that a fraction of it is toxic. The poison becomes life-threatening when 3 mo are ingested, with half dying if 3/10 per guan body weight are consumed. Waiso asks Tanhua if she could make the medicine with 1/10 of a mo, equating it to 10 drops of liquid. One of the warriors struggles to comprehend the explanation, feeling their brain might fracture under the pressure. A warrior, impressed by Waiso's mathematical skills, comments on the unexpected proficiency displayed. Waiso promises successful completion of the task, while Tanhua lays trust in his commitment. The scene shifts late at night with an overhead view of a serene, lantern-lit compound. A thought arises about the surprisingly varied effects of the ground beetle, viewed from a distance. An elder suggests reevaluating the Tang clan's poisons, with Tanhua agreeing. In conversation, the elder acknowledges Waiso's mathematical prowess in balancing the solution's concentration accurately. The elder expresses amazement at Waiso's impressive skills. Waiso's extensive poison knowledge astonishes the elder, who sees the child as a valuable asset. The grandfather teases Tanhua, inquiring if her opinions of Waiso have improved since their initial encounter. Tanhua admits to feeling regretful for her initial impatience, while the elder emphasizes progress as the priority. The elder queries Tanhua on the planned testing of the medicine's effects, leaving her momentarily speechless. Embarrassed, Tanhua hides her face, mentioning the branch family elder's disapproval of Waiso's insolence. Waiso had proposed testing the medicine's effectiveness by raising the clan elders, shocking Tanhua. The elder bursts into laughter, entertained by Waiso's humorous audacity. A warrior hands Waiso a box, who notes its contents with curiosity. The warrior explains the mixture of licorice powder and honey, aimed at improving taste and ingestion ease, impressing Waiso. Waiso confirms the exact adherence to his instructions by the warrior, who responds confidently. Nearby, 2 men grumble about the attention Waiso receives, questioning his abilities. Tan Chal-san commands silence within the room, setting a serious tone for the discussion that follows. He acknowledges that the medicine is prepared and questions how its effectiveness will be proven, implying the need for validation before use. One of the male characters insists that confirmation is necessary, emphasizing the importance of verifying the medicine's efficacy. The aged man argues against sending unverified poison to the city lord of Sichuan, expressing concern over potential disaster if something goes wrong. Waiso Ren considers the situation and acknowledges that there are no other options available, prompting agreement from the other warrior present. The same elderly man cynically questions the intention to test the medicine and mocks the situation by commenting on their exposure to the outside world. The elderly man is addressed by Tanhua Bin, who seeks his attention for an impending revelation. Tanhua Bin recalls a past conversation questioning the fearlessness against poison among those skilled in the clan's martial arts. With a hint of skepticism, the young male character points out that the elder's reactions seem to indicate fear, a surprising notion. The young male character expresses disbelief at the notion, while the narrator describes the elders as having mastered a wide array of poisons. The scene transitions to an older man's bold proclamation that they shouldn't fear something as minor as ground beetle poison, as he laughs confidently. The mature narrator emphasizes the insignificance of fearing low-grade poison, while others agree they've been underestimated by outsiders. The old man warns the consequences for consuming the medicine if it proves ineffective, asserting that the clan's principles will be upheld. He demands proof of the medicine's effects and insists that no adverse reactions should occur after consumption. It is noted that on that day, the laws and principles of the clan were decisively affirmed, conveying a sense of order restored. The scene reflects a peaceful morning as the narrator mentions the successful dispatch of the medicine to the city lord of Sichuan. Shortly after, a group of elderly men is seen rushing together, portraying a sense of urgency or alarm. The 2 younger characters discuss how their grandfather cleverly managed to provoke the elders for the poison dilemma, highlighting pride as their key weakness. Tanhua Bin explains that the elders' actions stem from genuine concern for the clan, advising not to harbor resentment against them. Tan Huobin ultimately reminds them all of their familial ties, and Vai So Ren expresses a reluctant understanding of the clan's unity. Tan Huobin is alarmed as Tan Huobin urgently informs him of a terrible situation that requires immediate attention. As Tan Chol-sen inquires about the issue, he is clearly apprehensive, preparing to address whatever turmoil has arisen. Tan Huobin reveals that their children are exhibiting strange behaviors, prompting surprise and concern from Vai So Ren. Tan Chol-san's expression turns to horror as he questions the situation with the children, leading to an intense confrontation. Amid confusion, Tan Chol-san demands an explanation regarding how they have children before marriage, misunderstanding the situation entirely. Tan Huobin frantically clarifies that they're not human children, but the spotted centipedes they have been caring for. Tan Chol-san and Vai So Ren express shock and realization upon learning that the issue involves the centipedes, not actual offspring. Vai So Ren recounts how recent training sessions led him to neglect the centipedes, forgetting about them during his routine. In growing panic, Vai So Ren insists on checking the situation with the centipedes immediately, fearing for their well-being. Tan Chol-san urgently notes that the centipedes are missing, highlighting a new problem that requires action. A moment passes and two figures observe as small creatures thud against the ground with a light impact, drawing their attention and curiosity. The young man remarks that the creatures were dropped off with a thud. Lady Huiyan notes they seem fine earlier and wonders if they might be sick as the older man watches over them. Observing closely, they see that the creatures look a bit pale and their shells appear strange, suggesting something unusual is happening. The young man realizes something and reassures Lady Huiyan that there is no need to worry about the situation. He explains that the phenomenon is called shedding, which occurs when creatures with hard shells grow bigger, and it seems the time for shedding has arrived. Lady Huiyan confirms they are shedding their shells as the older man agrees, looking at the creatures with interest from the side. Suddenly, an observation is made pointing out a notable change as they spot something happening with one of the creatures. As the focus shifts to the creature, it's apparent that it is shedding its shell, revealing its new form, starting with its head. The scene is quite spectacular, and Lady Huiyan watches in awe as the other two creatures also begin to shed their shells. All the creatures are now free from their old shells, revealing their full new shapes. The young man notes the creatures appear almost twice as large as they were previously, a noticeable change. He inquires if the creatures have names, which surprises Lady Huiyan as she ponders that they don't. Suggestions for names are playfully given as numbers, humorously shocking Lady Huiyan. Lady Huiyan suggests the creatures should have dignified names worthy of dragons, recalling legends about spotted centipedes. The young man teases her belief, and the older man chimes in, possibly having taught her about the spotted centipedes turning into dragons. The young man proposes naming them Nova, Myra, and Grace, which gives Lady Huiyan pause. Each name symbolizes different meanings. Nova as a beginning, Myra for fragrance, and Grace embodying gentle presence. Lady Huiyan repeats the names, reflecting on their significance. As the group walks away, they're reminded that naming typically falls under the father's responsibility, and the centipedes now have identities. A day later, the spotted centipedes return to cling to the young man, showing familiarity and attachment. The young man reflects on his body, still feeling damp, but finds himself more capable of moving despite some awkwardness. Noticing the increased weight, he remarks on the most noticeable change: their increased size. They have grown significantly from their previous size, now as large as his forearm. The centipedes snugly coil around his arms and waist, an embrace that feels tight but comforting. He expresses surprise at their growth, acknowledging the changes they went through. Nearby, two men discuss their plans with excitement at the prospect of extravagance, unaware of the young man's contemplative state. Overhearing their conversation, the young man seems puzzled, wondering about their intentions. A different man, likely an acquaintance, approaches with an announcement of great news that promises excitement or benefit. He brings up the medicine they previously sent to the city lord of Sichuan province, seeking confirmation of the event. He explains the medicine worked exceptionally well, with the city lord expressing gratitude and sending a generous reward, which surprises and pleases the recipients. As they gathered in a room, Tan Chol-san expressed his amusement at reaping such benefits since taking Wei So-ren as his son-in-law. Wei So-ren acknowledged the compliment, believing he had done something truly remarkable, and was glad it helped. Tan Huiyan stood by, observing the exchange. Tan Chol-san, seated at the table, contemplated offering one of his elixirs. He suggested that Wei So-ren might refuse out of modesty if he called it a reward, prompting Wei So-ren to look surprised. Wei So-ren was intrigued by the mention of an elixir. He recalled that his grandpa once mentioned elixirs as something that enhances internal energy, piquing his interest further. Tan Huiyan asked her father what kind of elixir it was. Tan Chol-san, looking somewhat dismissive, responded that it was nothing extraordinary, downplaying its significance. Tan Chol-san revealed that the elixir was actually the honey of the golden-haired king bee, piquing curiosity about its rarity and value. Wei-so-ren, imagining a bee with bees buzzing around him, realized it was essentially regular honey. Yet, knowing that internal energy was crucial for martial arts mastery, he considered accepting it. Wei-so-ren began to thank Tan Chol-san, but was cut off by Tan Hua-yin's urgent call to her father, concerned about something he had said. Tan Hua-yin questioned the decision to offer just honey as a reward, challenging Tan Chol-san on whether it matched the remarkable achievement required for such recognition. She pointed out that So-ryang's achievement was no small feat, arguing it deserved more than just honey from a mid-level creature. She insisted the reward should reflect the effort's greatness. Tan Hua-yin suggested the reward should grant at least a year's worth of internal energy, questioning how Tan Chol-san could offer so little. He defended the honey's worth, mentioning its cost. Reflecting on the comparison of the reward to So-ryang's deeds, Tan Chol-san found it lacking. He mumbled to himself about the challenges of having a daughter. Wei-so-ren hesitated, seeking clarification about the golden-haired king bee from Tan Chol-san. Tan Chol-san, clearing his throat, prepared to explain. Tan Chol-san described the golden-haired king bee as a mid-tier venomous creature found in jungles. It was noteworthy for its size, as big as a small dog. Consuming its honey was said to grant internal energy equivalent to 2 months of meditation. Wei-so-ren was awed by the bee's size, finding it incredible. Tan Hua-yin, feeling upset on Wei-so-ren's behalf, cautioned him to hold on and reconsider accepting the offer immediately. Tan Chol-san clarified that his intention was not as it seemed. He had thought So-ryang might desire to see the golden-haired king bee himself, offering an unexpected twist. The suggestion led to surprise as the idea of personally encountering the golden-haired king bee dawned on Wei-so-ren and Tan Hua-yin. Tan Chol-san confirmed the plan with enthusiasm. Wei-so-ren realized he would have to harvest the honey himself, recalling his past experiences as a YouTuber harvesting honey. This idea both thrilled and shocked him. Excited by the prospect, Wei-so-ren rallied his father-in-law, claiming expertise with bees. Tan Chol-san humorously noted his amusement, while Tan Hua-yin observed their eagerness. Wei-so-ren asked what the golden-haired king bee looked like. Tan Chol-san responded with a laugh, indicating that it probably resembled regular bees, amusing Tan Hua-yin. The scene set the stage for the honey harvesting journey, marking the beginning of a new adventure. Tan Chol-san had provided premium information, leading them to believe they faced no competition. They were hopeful as they entered the forest. However, they encountered others claiming the honey for themselves, arguing over who had the right to it, leading to a tense confrontation. Wei-so-ren questioned these people about the source of their information, connecting it to someone with scruffy hair and a mole, leading to mutual recognition of the seller. Realizing the sellers were familiar figures, Wei-so-ren was taken aback, recognizing them from a previous encounter. Furious at the widespread scam, the group lamented being swindled by these individuals, cursing their deceitful tactics. Amid rising tensions, one opponent insulted the Sichuan Tang clan, sparking outrage and determination from Tan Hua-yin. Surprised to encounter members of the Sichuan Tang clan, adversaries questioned their identity, leading to heightened tension. Wei-so-ren lamented the disruption of his peaceful honey harvesting trip, reflecting on the unforeseen complications. As preparation for a new journey, Tan Chol-san advised So-ryang on caution and the importance of remembering his family and Tang clan identity. So-ryang respectfully accepted the wisdom. Tan Chol-san informs So-ryang that he will be leading a group and that it's time he learns how to manage others. Surprised, So-ryang questions his capability to lead them. Amused, Tan Chol-san explains to So-ryang that since Lady Huiyin is his partner, it makes him the highest authority there, implying responsibility. Confused by the word partner, So-ryang is reassured by Tan Hua-yin, who promises to help along the way, encouraging him to do great. Determined now, So-ryang promises to do his best, standing in front of the gathered group, ready to lead them onward. So-ryang, facing Wolfgang, wonders aloud about what they should do in the current situation, pondering whether they should share information or not. Tan Hua questions who dared to share their Sicilian Tang clan information, suggesting that whoever is must be courageous. She speculates where the information might be sold and questions the security breach within the Sicilian Tang clan. Shocked by her presence, some men recognize her as the poisonous flower of the 3 flowers of Murim, realizing she is a direct descendant of the Tang clan. A group from Central Wind Sect decides to withdraw, stating they have no intention to interfere with the Sicilian Tang clan's matters. Following suit, members from Noble Origin Sect and White Jade Ghost Slayer Sect announce their retreat amidst plans of revenge. Observing their retreat, Ryan questions Wolfgang about the significance of the withdrawal and wonders about the Sicilian Tang clan's reputation. Concerned, Ryan asks if the situation is resolved, only to be told by Wolfgang that it is probably not the case. Hidden among the trees, men plot further trouble, doubting the ease at which things seem to have settled down. Wolfgang suggests setting up camp nearby to keep watch, suspecting the others are merely hiding, waiting for the right moment to act. He instructs Dupas to find their camp. Mountains loom in the distance, providing a serene backdrop and indicating the setting for the group's camping area. Discovering a golden-haired king bee, Ryan is excited to see one for the first time, acknowledging its impressive size. Fascinated by the bees, Ryan comments on their cuteness, while Tanhua observes their fluffy fur, understanding why they're called golden-haired king bees. Noticing the bee colony's small size, Ryan speculates if there could be just a few hundred, which Wolfgang points out makes sense given their size. Clarifying further, Ryan mentions that by observing the bees entering and exiting, one can estimate the colony's size without entering the hive. Impressed, Tanhua learns from Ryan that the number of bees can indeed be estimated through their activity at the hive entrance. A subordinate reports to Wolfgang that they've located the unorthodox members hiding at the opposite side, revealing their position in the forest. The other group, not doing much at the moment, remains camped on the opposite side, but they are prepared to make a move if an opportunity arises. Wolfgang plans to wait until nightfall to harvest honey using the Tang clan's method, piquing Ryan's curiosity about what the method involves. Wolfgang explains about using mugwort smoke to calm the bees, allowing them to harvest honey, an idea which Ryan finds excellent. However, a man points out a potential issue with the plan. The wind is currently blowing toward them, expressing concern over this challenge. Ryan energetically reacts with a yosh, hinting he might have a clever idea while still considering the situation with the others. Ryan suggests that the wind blowing toward them might actually mask their scent, acknowledging its truth momentarily. Taking the opportunity, Ryan decides to visit the hive quickly, surprising Tanhua who calls out to him, startled by his sudden action. Ignoring the warning, Ryan insists on going to the hive to satisfy his curiosity, but is dragged back by Tanhua who worries about its dangers. Ultimately, the two run away frantically from the bees, and afterward, they face a severe scolding for their reckless behavior. Soryang ponders the situation, sitting on a rock, questioning if there's no other way. Soryang realizes lighting the fire against the wind would trap them between enemies. He observes that the golden-haired king bee is distinct from the others. Soryang considers how bees can detect ground vibrations from a distance, a capability even ground bees lack. Lady Huayan finds Soryang and greets him, acknowledging that this is where he was. Lady Huayan mentions that the kids have had their meal, and she brought them as they were trying to wander off. Soryang tells the little ones to stay still, and they respond with a cheering sound. Lady Huayan inquires about any progress. Soryang admits needing more observation and feels like he burdens her with constant pressure. Lady Huayan reassures that she doesn't feel pressed, but then notices something and urges Soryang to look at the opposite side of the tree. Observing the commotion, Soryang realizes that it involves monkeys seemingly trying to fight. Lady Huayan notes that one of the monkeys appears very angry, leaving both surprised. Soryang remarks on a sudden sweet scent in the air, suspecting it could be significant. Soryang, startled, speculates on the presence of pheromones. Realizing the danger, Soryang urgently tells Lady Huayan they must leave as the bees are about to swarm. She quickly agrees. The swarm of bees takes off, prompting a response of surprise and concern. After the narrow escape, Soryang and Lady Huayan reflect on how close they were to disaster. Lady Huayan questions Soryang on how he predicted the bee attack before any buzzing was heard. Soryang reveals it was due to scent, clarifying the source of his prediction. The unusual faint scent of magnolia is mentioned, surprising Soryang with its recognition. Lady Huayan becomes curious about Soryang's ability to identify pheromones by their scent. Soryang confirms recognizing the earlier scent, adding clarity to their discussion. Excitedly, Soryang recalls the scent matches that of magnolia flowers, surprising Lady Huayan with this revelation. Inspired, Soryang comes up with a new plan, confidently considering its potential success. Around a campfire, two men enjoy their meal, exclaiming how delicious it is. A conversation starts about the Tang clan, suggesting plans to gather honey, though activity has quieted recently. There's speculation on whether the Tang clan will make a move soon, with mixed opinions. Amidst disbelief, they discuss the economic value of beehives, particularly the prized beeswax harvested exclusively for the imperial family. Optimistic about potential rewards, the men contemplate the failure of others could mean greater gains for them. Concerns arise about a notorious poisoner from the Murim, expressing interest in monitoring her closely. They entertain thoughts of claims over the formidable beauty, their excitement palpable. Jokingly, they muse about potential marriage connections with the Tang clan, linking it to a life-saving favor. A mysterious fragrance fills the air, and two figures in the shadows comment on the pleasant scent. They wonder if it might be from the poisonous flower, which they note has an intoxicating aroma. One finds humor in how enticing it is. At a campsite, two men are startled by an unfamiliar noise. One questions what the sound could be, visibly confused by the sudden disturbance. Two men appear shocked and scared, their eyes wide. They demand to know what the startling sight is, clearly overwhelmed with fear and confusion. Panic ensues as the men recognize the threat, golden-haired king bees. They urge each other to run and escape from the impending danger. Desperation takes over as swarms of bees cover the scene. Voices cry out for help, pleading to be saved from the relentless attackers. Sorong, alongside Tan and another, confirms that the bees are moving in unison. The plan appears to be working as they hoped, with all the bees heading in one direction. Tan inquires how Sorong managed to agitate the bees so much with his scent. Sorong explains it was intentional, ordering the bees to make a full-scale attack. Tan learns that Sorong only crushed some flowers and fruits, spreading their juice. This action led to the bees launching a full attack. Sorong explains that this specific scent triggers an attack order among the bees. The trio watches as the powerful aroma ascends. A brief scientific explanation is presented about pheromones, chemical signals used by animals, particularly insects, to communicate. The narrative continues to elucidate how social insects like ants and wasps, bees included, depend heavily on pheromones for communication. Tan realizes the scent Sorong used is isomyl acetate, the exact pheromone bees release during a full-scale attack. Tan finds this method fascinating and is impressed by Sorong's knowledge. Sorong is praised by Tan for recognizing the scent, attributing this ability to the Tang clan's expertise in poisons. Tan comments that heightened sensitivity to smells comes with such specialization. Observing the absence of the bees, the group debates entering the tree to accomplish their initial mission. As they approach, they discuss the plan to harvest the golden-haired king bee's honey inside the tree. Approaching the entrance, Tan asks to leave due to the potential danger. Sorong and the others seem to agree on this cautious approach. Inside, Sorong, Tan, and the other companion are taken aback by the sheer size of the hive. The magnitude of their undertaking becomes evident. The group notices that the bees appear to have left, allowing them an unchallenged path to their goal. There's a sense of relief tinged with uncertainty. To their surprise, they discover no honey within the hive. Sorong is puzzled by this unexpected absence. Outside, the group takes a moment to catch their breath, remarking on the close call they had with the bees. The tense atmosphere begins to ease. Tan notes that they were lucky to escape before the bees returned. She seems relieved but aware of the close shave they experienced. Tan questions Sorong about a bundle they are carrying. The doubt and curiosity are clear in her inquiry. Sorong reveals they brought the queen bee of the golden-haired king bees. Since there was no honey, Sorong thought it wise to take the one who could make it. Tan expresses surprise over Sorong's decision, urging consideration of the consequences. There's an implication of immediate danger. Sorong acknowledges to the group that with the queen bee missing, the swarm will soon realize this and start to chase them. With the impending danger, the group quickly decides to make a run for it. The urgency is palpable as they begin their escape. Sorong, now holding the queen bee, tries to calm the situation, reflecting on how it has been a few days since their escape from the bees initiated this chase. Exhaustion is evident as the group pushes their limits. They use their skills to evade the bees, with some members considerably fatigued. Upon reaching safety, it becomes clear that some warriors have fallen behind due to exhaustion. Tan vows to improve their mobility skills for future endeavors. In the continuing pursuit, another member collapses, highlighting the relentless nature of their escape. The group presses on, determined to evade the bee swarm. Duryong has collapsed during the battle. Wang Duryong from the Venom Blood Unit is down, unable to continue fighting. Soryon expresses concern about whether the distance of the queen bee from their group will prevent an attack. He urges everyone to use their mobility arts and escape quickly. A concerned male asks Warrior Soryon if escape is still possible, questioning if they truly can get away from the danger. 3 days later, a figure crashes to the ground with a forceful impact, exclaiming in pain. A character apologizes to Warrior Soryon, admitting exhaustion and an inability to continue further. Heavy breathing reveals their tired state. Huayan offers to carry Soryon, but he hesitates, suggesting he might be better off continuing to run alone. Huayan, determined not to give up, insists she can handle it. As a member of the Tang clan, she vows to persist no matter what. A character notices the young lady's return and calls attention to her arrival. Her presence is significant to those observing. Upon her return, family members are immediately summoned, indicating the importance of the situation. An elder questions the hurried commotion, seeking to know if Huan has returned amidst the chaos. Sorian attempts to explain to the father-in-law that Lady Huan has exhausted herself by using mobility arts tirelessly for 10 days. But there's an urgency as the elder declares they must head to the training grounds without delay, pressing for action. Sorian presents the golden-haired queen bee, explaining the imminent danger with the other bees. They must move to the ancient tree at the training grounds. Surprise and amusement greet the revelation that the mission involved returning with the queen bee instead of just honey. Laughter hints at disbelief. The elder, alongside Sorian, prepares to depart, prompting Sorian's surprise at his inclusion in the plan. As bees swarm toward them, Sorian expresses concern to his grandfather, noting the overwhelming number following them. Close to their destination, Sorian urges haste in their journey, indicating the urgency and danger with a loud exclamatory push. They arrive at their destination in the nick of time, Sorian acknowledging their arrival to the waiting warrior. The designated spot for the golden-haired queen bee is presented as its new home, with Sorian pointing out the significance. Sorian questions if the choice is satisfactory, hoping the queen bee finds the location appealing. Observing the bee's reaction, Sorian concludes that she seems to like the place, pleased with her apparent approval. With the bees approaching, the elder advises a quick retreat, prompting Sorian's agreement to vacate the area. In awe, the elder admits to never witnessing anything like this before, sharing his amazement with Sorian. The mission's success is confirmed as the golden-haired queen bee has been secured in its new habitat with a sense of accomplishment lingering. They provided sugar water to the weary golden-haired king bees, helping them recover after following their journey. The narrative shares that bonds often form over meals, fostering goodwill. The bees, observed by the family, appear endearing during their feast. The small feast might reduce the bees' wariness, with the hope they might even begin to recognize Sorian as their master. Suddenly, Sorian remembers something important and exclaims in alarm, which catches the attention of those nearby. The elder questions Sorian's sudden concern for Lady Huan, noting his delayed consideration. Sorian recalls his instructions to take Huan to rest, sheepishly admitting his oversight in a plea for forgiveness. The older man bemoans the scarcity of sleep, managing only 4 hours a day with the remainder of their time spent running. His companion, with a hint of exasperation, agrees, offering a resigned expression of mild amusement, expressing a sense of disbelief and fatigue. Addressing Sorian directly, the older man seems to draw attention to something significant, his voice carrying a tone of urgency that suggests an imperative moment in their conversation. Sorian stands amidst a group of attentive individuals, anxiety apparent as he inquires about the whereabouts of the Venom Blood Unit. A simple exclamation escapes him, indicative of realization or concern. Speculating on the whereabouts of the Venom Blood Unit, Sorian reasons they might have collapsed somewhere along the road and notes his obligation to retrieve them. Amusement is shared by an onlooker who observes the situation. Eventually, the Venom Blood Unit members make it back to their families safely, implying a resolution to the preceding concerns and efforts made to ensure their return. Inside a room, a woman shares positive news about the revival of the golden-haired king bees with Sorian, who acknowledges her remark with agreement, suggesting a shared relief or joy in their recovery. Sorian beams with admiration as he describes the bees gathering nectar from the Tangclan Mountain's poisonous flowers. The woman's reaction mirrors his sentiment, finding the bees' actions charming. Sorian's attention is suddenly seized by shouts calling for him, causing him and the woman to turn towards the commotion, revealing an urgency in the air. His response is filled with curiosity and concern. A man urgently demands Sorian's immediate presence outside, indicating that a pressing matter needs addressing, highlighted by his raised voice and anxious demeanor. The interruption is due to odd behavior exhibited by the golden-haired king bees, with Sorian and the woman both puzzled at the bees' seemingly purposeful search for an unknown item or entity. Sorian, addressing the cluster of bees hovering around their hive, questions aloud their nervous activity. His suspicion of their distress suggests he seeks to understand their agitation. The bees' urgent buzzing communicates a clear intent to Sorian, persuading him to comply. Amicably, he resigns to their wishes and prepares to enter the hive, relaying his readiness to accommodate their demands. Within the hive, busy bees have already constructed sections and are energetically collecting honey. Their diligent work astonishes Sorian, who finds himself captivated by their organized fervor. Amid his observation, Sorian identifies the queen bee commanding attention from the swarm. Her distinct presence appears to serve as a point of focus for his curiosity. As Sorian extends his hand, the queen bee responds affirmatively, seemingly inviting his assistance. He offers to lift her up in a gesture of cooperation and aid. Soryang suddenly finds himself hindered by the bees clinging to him, allowing little freedom of movement. Their insistence prompts an exasperated reaction from him, causing a moment's pause. Overwhelmed by the bees' unexpected actions, Soryang expresses surprise, asking them to hold on momentarily to regain his bearings. In a moment of unexpected intimacy, a sudden gesture from the queen bee leaves Soryang in a stunned silence, hinting at a significant turn of events with evident confusion. Feeling a strange sensation wash over him following the encounter, Soryang notes an odd engulfing warmth and increased heart rate, a clear sign of something amiss overtaking him. Soryang, deeply flustered, confronts the queen bee about the incident that took place. His disbelief and shock underscore the significance of the queen bee's enigmatic action. With a stern expression, the queen bee confronts Soryang, hinting at an unexpected or unseen development that leaves Soryang questioning her intentions and actions. Behind the initial discomfort, Soryang acknowledges a strange feeling coursing through him, escalating to a heat surge enveloping his entire body, adding to his confusion and distress. Intense heat paired with a rapid heartbeat overwhelms him, illustrating the sudden rush of sensations attributed to the mysterious interaction with the queen bee. Soryang questions the queen bee about what he's ingested with palpable urgency, seeking clarity on the unforeseen transformation he's experiencing. The young woman, addressing her grandfather, alerts him to the changes she notices in Soryang. She suspects an incredibly potent elixir as the cause, highlighting the gravity of the situation. An unnoticed voice calls for Soryang to regain his composure, promising guidance through his present turmoil, indicating a desire to offer aid or solution. The woman attempts to reconnect with Soryang, looking over him with concern as she questions if he's beginning to come back to reality. Coming to grips with his surroundings, Soryang finds himself in a room belonging to the Tang clan's medical hall. Realization dawns on him as he begins to process his current circumstances. The woman recounts the incident, recalling how she and her grandfather rushed to Soryang's aid upon witnessing the bees driving him away. They brought him to safety once he collapsed, implying a swift and decisive rescue. Ensuring Soryang's well-being, the woman asks if he remembers any details of the preceding events. Soryang's brief response suggests he's still piecing together the fragments of the encounter. Soryang is overwhelmed by the memory of their first kiss in this world, feeling shaken. A concerned female checks on Soryang, asking if something is wrong with her body, trying to offer comfort and support. The female wonders if they should call grandfather, but Soryang quickly reassures her that it's just a momentary feeling, urging her not to worry too much. She explains that the queen bee had fed her the same food she ate, and she believes that's probably what caused the current state. Soryang, curious, inquires about what exactly she consumed. She mentions being unsure of the exact name, but if she had to call it something, it would be king bee elixir. Soryang, intrigued by this, echoes the name as if to confirm its strangeness. He explains that regular worker bees gather nectar and pollen for sustenance, consuming what they collect. These bees dedicate their lives to this labor. Soryang asks about the queen bee's diet. He learns that from birth till death, the queen bee exclusively consumes the king bee elixir produced by the worker bees. The female reveals that the jelly forcefully fed to her by the queen bee was known as royal jelly, an exclusive food for the queen bee throughout her life. However, there's more to the elixir. It has special effects. She listens intently as Soryang hints at the powerful impact associated with consuming the king bee elixir. He describes how ordinary worker bees have a short lifespan of about a month and a half, but consuming the king bee elixir extends the queen bee's life by up to 60 times longer, a fascinating revelation. She finds this amazing, urging Soryang to calm down. She acknowledges the newfound understanding, noting that the mystery is finally solved. There's a sense of relief as she processes the information. In a separate scene, someone uses a novice technique related to cultivating internal energy, referred to as the 5 powers returning technique. Its beginner nature means they can't fully absorb the elixir's power. The female mentions that despite the novice cultivation, the golden-haired king bee honey supplied substantial internal energy, equivalent to 2 months' worth. By consuming 60 times that amount, Soryang receives 10 years' worth of internal power. Soryang becomes aware of the incredible internal energy he has gained, acknowledging the stroke of luck that led to such a fortunate encounter with amazement. The female advises Soryang to look in the silver mirror later, as there might be other effects from the king bee elixir that he should be aware of. Soryang's attention is piqued by the mention of other potential effects, questioning what those effects might entail. Additionally, Soryang wonders about the identity of the silver mirror, the significance of which remains unexplained at this point. As he examines himself, Soryang notices something distinctly unusual. There's a growing sense that something is definitely strange, but he isn't sure what it means yet. Pondering the effects of royal jelly, Soryang wonders if such changes are typical. He questions the whereabouts of the person from Hainan, indicating a mysterious alteration in his surroundings. Soryang realizes his cultivation has improved along with an unexpected side effect. His skin is now soft and smooth like that of a woman, adding a twist to his perception. There's humor in the air as Soryang humorously considers his transformation linked to the royal jelly. Meanwhile, he envisions himself as a queen bee, grappling with the amusing and alarming change. Relieved, Soryang is glad that everything is where it's supposed to be, lying comfortably as he processes the chaotic events surrounding him. Reflecting on the verge of death, Soryang recognizes the assistance received from grandfather, acknowledging that without guidance, the situation might have ended disastrously. The female advises him to express gratitude. As Soryang walks, he feels unfamiliar gazes directed at him. He speculates whether the increase in internal energy is causing this new attention, feeling the weight of these observations. Deciding on his course of action, Soryang chooses to quickly run away, leaving behind curious onlookers and murmurs of what seems to be admiration and gossip. The scene shifts to the Sikwon clan restaurant house, presenting a new location that holds potential for the unfolding narrative. A female comments on how Soryang, their son-in-law, looks even more handsome now. She politely inquires about his well-being, ensuring he feels all right after the recent events. Soryang acknowledges her concern, apologizing for any worry caused by the situation. In turn, the female sees the fortunate encounter as something worth celebrating, diffusing any lingering tension. Observing him closely, she notes Soryang's improved complexion with amusement. Another gently teases her, playfully mentioning how Huayin might envy his new appearance, prompting an embarrassed reaction. Urging Soryang to take a seat, the female's light banter has Soryang feeling slightly flustered, yet appreciative of the warmth surrounding him. A male, possibly Soryang's father-in-law, checks on his well-being, asking if he feels better. Soryang responds positively, again apologizing for previously causing worry as they share a meal together. Y expresses gratitude to grandfather, acknowledging the care he received. He mentions hearing about a lucky encounter and extends his congratulations. Tang Cholsan asks for an explanation, seeking clarification on the situation. Tang Hui asks about the King Bee elixir, curious about what happened during the encounter Huayin mentioned. Y recounts how the golden-haired queen bee repaid his kindness by dragging him into the hive and feeding him the King Bee elixir. Hui believes the commotion started there. The female remarks on the gratitude of mid-level venomous creatures, finding it fascinating. Tang Cholsan inquires if there's a way to acquire the King Bee elixir again, noting its potential benefit for the Tang clan. Tang Hua urgently questions Y, wondering if he can obtain more of the King Bee elixir. Tang Hua, acknowledging Y as Soryang, asks if obtaining the King Bee elixir again is possible, leaving Wei unsure. Wei contemplates the idea of creating queen cells to trick bees into producing royal jelly. Wei realizes that attempting such a trick with intelligent golden-haired king bees would result in disaster, imagining beehive fury. While considering royal jelly, Wei notes that the substance he received might differ, as it came directly from the queen bee. Wei wonders if he should be honest about the situation, contemplating his response. Wei admits that obtaining the elixir again is impossible, prompting surprise and questions from the others. Wei hesitates over the idea of consumption, unsure if anyone would eat the elixir despite no issues with taste or smell. Wei clarifies that the concern isn't about taste or smell. Wei explains that the King Bee elixir comes directly from the queen's mouth, requiring direct contact. Wei describes the method involving lips and the queen bee's tongue to transfer the elixir. Shock ensues as others react to the idea of lip-to-lip contact with a queen bee. A man concludes that Y is the only one favored by the queen, making it impossible for others to obtain the elixir. Tang Hua realizes in surprise that Y kissed the golden-haired queen bee. The Mirim Alliance leader, identified as Ju Junghak, stands authoritatively. Ju Junghak acknowledges an arrival with tea, permitting entry into the room. The tea, identified as white dew from Xishan Mountain, is recognized, provoking a silent reaction. Ju Junghak appreciates the famous tea from Xishan Mountain and expresses intentions to enjoy it. The one announces General Jigelhu's arrival, and he's invited to enter the room. General Jigelhu apologizes for interrupting Ju Junghak's rest. General Jigelhu reports receiving a message from the Sichuan Tang clan, deeming it important enough to inform Ju Junghak immediately. Ju Junghak acknowledges the urgency, urging General Jigelhu to speak and reveal the significant matter. General Jigelhu shares that the issue concerns the Blood Hand Rakshasa, Tak Yumyang. Ju Junghak reacts intensely to news of the Tang clan retrieving both the head and the secret manual of the Blood Hand Poison Art. The male character is angrily demanding to know how the Blood Hand Poison Art was retrieved and speaks of an event where Tak Linian vanished after encountering significant danger. Later, it's mentioned that he lived in solitude on Hainan Island, suggesting a mysterious past. The man continues, acknowledging a compelling story related to these past events, suggesting there's more to tell than what has been previously known. It is revealed that Tak Linyan, once a feared demon, was defeated by a young poison master. The surprised man asks about this new character, showing interest for disbelief in the situation. The storyteller hints that the tale of the event is particularly amusing and suggests that the alliance leader would find it intriguing, creating an atmosphere of suspense and curiosity. A woman enters the scene, offering to provide a detailed explanation of the story, indicating her desire to share her knowledge and perhaps involvement in the events. The setting is described as the Hall of the Sichuan Tang clan patriarch, where an agreement is acknowledged with the patriarch by one member, hinting at formal proceedings taking place. Members of the assembly express outrage over individuals bold enough to sell important information, lamenting actions that could harm the Tang clan's reputation, showing their determination to protect their interests. Two characters discuss with surprise how the elders don't seem to criticize the father-in-law, indicating a level of respect or fear toward him that is evident through this interaction. The elders, visibly upset, talk about how damaging the family's honor is unacceptable, showing their anger and unity as a family despite their differences. A character speaks about involving the beggars sect to identify those responsible, planning to visit another locality personally, showing his commitment to resolving the issue. The elder asks how he plans to deal with the situation, and the other explains using drastic poison methods, showing the severe measures they are willing to take. He imagines the suffering caused by the poisons and finalizes his plan with a deadly poison, revealing the high stakes and deadly serious intent behind the strategy. Instructions are given to summon the Poison Annihilation Unit, prioritizing action and immediate response, demonstrating the seriousness of the task at hand. Before departing, the patriarch instructs his son-in-law to manage affairs while he is gone, indicating trust and responsibility being placed upon him. The son-in-law acknowledges the instructions, humorously noting that their opponents should be more worried than he is exhibiting confidence. The group prepares to leave, with the patriarch ensuring that their punishment will be unforgettable, showing determination and justice. Two women question if the group belongs to the Poison Annihilation Unit, with the response being that they handle rough tasks, indicating their dangerous nature. She explains that their main job is eliminating targets, showing the lethal and serious nature of the unit with subtle irony in her explanation. Greetings are exchanged between the characters and the elders, with mention of a recent fortunate event that prompts interest among them. The character speculates internally whether the event involves royal jelly from golden-haired king bees, implying intrigue and curiosity. The elder mentions summoning the character to ask a favor, provoking curiosity about what this could involve, with the young man's nervousness evident. The elder dismisses any assumptions related to coveted items, instead explaining the importance of items finding their rightful owners, hinting at tradition or fairness. As the younger character inquires about their true need, tension builds, with the elder showing a visible hesitation and discomfort. The elder reluctantly reveals they need access to ground beetle medicine made by the young man, causing surprise and further tension. The young man reflects on his troubles adapting to clan life, but with the elder's support, he finds willingness to share his skills, bringing hope and camaraderie. The elder's attention is drawn by ongoing enthusiasm, causing the young man to react with surprise, showcasing unexpected camaraderie. The elders' interactions show affection for the young man, reflecting acceptance and appreciation of his contributions, enhancing family bonds. One member laughs at the situation, affirming their respect for the clan leader in an exaggerated display of loyalty, blending humor and sincerity. Urgency strikes as the Grand Patriarch is urgently informed of a major problem, evoking immediate concern and readiness. The alarming news reveals that the Lord of Chuan Province is gravely ill, shocking everyone present, setting a serious and urgent atmosphere. Sorong is shocked, wondering if the prescribed dosage wasn't followed properly. Tan Kal San appears concerned, confirming there was indeed an issue with the dosage. Sorong learns that after experiencing the effects of the medicine, someone took a new concubine and began consuming over twice the recommended amount. He is worried. An elderly man, holding his head, expresses the urgency to leave immediately. The grandfather tells Sorong that since he's the only man left, he must protect the women. Sorong understands and agrees. Sorong stands confidently alongside Tanhua In and Tan Kal San, musing about what could possibly go wrong. Sitting on a bench, Tanhua In asks Sorong about his progress with the 10 Poisons dual origin art. Sorong explains it's becoming easier with time. Tanhua In describes how the 10 Poisons dual origin art feels like a twin-cylinder engine compared to the 5 Venoms returning technique. She suggests Sorong has developed some resistance to common poisons. Tanhua In adds that Sorong should be able to directly release his Kyue or even imbue objects with it. Sorong is excited and surprised by this information. Sorong, feeling determined, decides to give it a try, eager to test his new abilities. Sorong channels the internal energy from left to right, rotating the two orbs in the same direction with great focus. As Sorong continues, he feels the Kyubei fully circulating through his body, realizing the power within. He successfully releases the energy, demonstrating his newly enhanced capabilities with a powerful action. Sorong excitedly tells Hua In about his success. A masked figure comments on his impressive ability to imbue a dagger with Kai. Hidden figures conversing wonder if they've been noticed and contemplate the need for elimination. They decide it was a coincidence and refrain from action. One of the masked figures holds a book stating they secured a copy of the Blood Hand Poison Art's secret manual. They plan to leave quickly to avoid trouble. Another masked figure comments on the lax security at the training hall, feeling confident about an easy escape due to their carelessness. Suddenly, they notice a sweet scent in the air, which captures their attention amidst the pink mist. A small creature named B appears amidst the captivating pink mist, adding an unexpected element to the scene.